How do you feel, Patrick? Oh, he's just picking up the headset. He's so overwhelmed. Can't get ready for the show.
Yeah, I am ready, but I was still doing a lot of last minute stuff. I got all sorts of notes over here that I was writing down.
Oh, this is not a good sign. I've never seen Mel Kiper Jr. cramming at the last minute. That's the brilliance of these national NFL draft guys. They have seen prepared forever.
Yeah, they make millions of dollars. That's all they have to do. So
what's the last minute stuff? What do you got?
Well, it's actually not necessary for tonight, but I just kind of want to know everything about all of I've done more work on the college players and just kind of counted on what I know about the NFL teams, but I do want to go through and make sure I fully remember everyone that was signed and all that stuff, because right when free agency starts, I'm keeping track of all this stuff, they signed this guy, and then after a couple of weeks before you actually see them play in that uniform, I start to it also gets jumbled up, and I'm like, wait, who signed up so-and-so? And so I just want to make sure I have that all clear in my head when it's more for days 2 and 3, because that's when you're really starting to try and plug less obvious needs. So I know the clear needs for every team, and I kind of know where they're going to go or where they're going to be thinking around one, but I want to have a full kind of picture of all the teams.
Bill,
make
you
sure
looked
I'm squared away.
I don't know, impressed, confused, or amused. What was that look about with Patrick's notes?
There's a lot there. He seems
big day.
I mean, it's a big day. You're exactly right. Yeah. That's a lot.
There are at least there are 3 teams that don't have picks in the first round, I think. There are 4 teams that don't have picks in the first round, so I need to pay attention to them as well.
That seems to be an unusually high number. That sound right to you?
It's kind of a lot, I guess, but I mean, the Texans don't have one because they're just the worst run franchise in the world. The Chiefs just traded out, so that's a new addition. The Seahawks have 3 picks in the entire draft, and then the Rams. The Rams will have a first-round pick for the next 5 years. So,
and a lot of people thinking Carolina Panthers or wondering about them. 2 different things yesterday. I found it interesting that they put out the news about moving to artificial turf not long before they put out the news about Teddy Bridgewater to the Denver Broncos. What do you guys make of both of those things? To me, I guess I get the artificial turf. I don't like football. Football should play on grass. I'm not a fan of the artificial turf, especially if your reasoning is because there's going to be soccer games played on the stadium now. To me, that's not a great sign for your football franchise. The Bridgewater thing makes a lot of sense for both Carolina and Denver, in my opinion, because of the Sam Darnold deal. You don't want Bridgewater standing over your shoulder, and then just the appearance of just blowing a bunch of money. I know they basically gave him to Denver, but Denver needs quarterbacks. So I think it makes a lot of sense to me, especially the day before the draft, to kind of move on from the Teddy Bridgewater era. Bill, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I was more interested here in Patrick's take, just because what the Panthers get back here is the 6th round pick? I was trying to go back and look real quick. Yeah, the 6th round pick. So now essentially for Sam Darnold, who we've talked about, I think has upside. I don't know if Darnold's going to be any good or not, but to me, Darnold's at least got NFL experience and is something that maybe Joe Brady can work with. And to get a guy that was a top 5 pick that has NFL experience, that is still very young, for basically a 2nd and a 4th rounder. Is that right? I'm not leaving anything else out of the draft, right? Or excuse me, out of the trade for Sam Darnold, right?
I don't think so. That sounds right.
2nd, 4th, and 6th.
I kind of forgot what it was, but yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I just say that, I feel like the Panthers have an absolute steal in Sam Darnold. There's no reason to draft another quarterback at 8 now, and you can go about really trying, if there was a quarterback at 8, you can really go about trying to improve your team. So I think that's for the Panthers. I think what you end up, the fact that Teddy Bridgewater was not going to be your starting quarterback, everybody knew that. And so it was going to be hard to trade him anyway, or to get something of real value for him, A, because he's Teddy Bridgewater, B, because everybody knew what his role was going to be, and the Panthers were going to get rid of him. I think the Panthers got to feel pretty good about this.
No, I absolutely agree. Patrick, what do you think?
I just don't know why the Broncos did this. The Broncos are so good. Like, they have a really, really good roster. And Teddy Bridgewater is not going to be what takes them to a Super Bowl. They have a Super Bowl ready roster. Like, if you just take the quarterback out of it, they're easily top 5, probably maybe higher. They might be top 3. Like, they're stacked, and you're sitting at number 9. Like, you have a legitimate chance to just put the chips in, move up. You can do whatever you need to do to get a quarterback in the draft, and you're going to bring Teddy Bridgewater in, unless this is just, hey, we want him in the building, but we're still going to do whatever we can to draft a quarterback. Like,
yeah, that's what they're saying.
Guy.
Well, what about this for 2021 anyway? Drew Lock number 1, Teddy Bridgewater number 2, and your rookie guy, a top 10 pick at number 3. For long-term success, I don't think that's a bad place to be.
Nobody does that anymore, though. Every first-round quarterback plays, and I think if you put Andy Reid in a lie detector test, he would have wanted to play Patrick Mahomes his rookie year too, but Alex Smith was playing too well. So I think Andy Reid fully believes that he would have won the Super Bowl that year if he had played Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, top 10 picks, they play. They just play now. There's, especially depending on who it is, like people say Trey Lance is the one guy that needs to sit, but I mean, you could still engineer offense with him, just make quarterback run a little bit more of a part of it. And we'll see tonight. If they move up, I'll say that was very impressive work, but that's a very crowded quarterback room if you're bringing in. And Drew Lock, I mean, I would be ready to just punt on Drew Lock. It's not like you committed that much to him. He wasn't a first-round pick. You got him late in the second round. Everybody had passed on him by then, and he's not really shown anything. So I would, if they draft a quarterback and get rid of Drew Lock, that's fine. But a 3-man competition, nobody does that anymore. That's not going to happen. So I don't know. I think that you want clarity. When you're that good and you have a legitimate chance of contending for a Super Bowl, I would think that you would want clarity. And that's what the Panthers are doing. They don't want the locker room divided by guys who clearly loved Teddy last year, and now there's this new guy, Sam Darnold, in town that everybody thinks stinks. And if you have an open competition, it's just not – people are going to pick sides. It's not going to be good. So for the Panthers side of things, I think it totally makes sense. We'll see if they take quarterback as well. I mean, David Tepper is clearly being very aggressive, and he wants to run their answer. So if they say that Justin Fields is our guy or Mac Jones was our guy and one of them ends up sliding and they take him, I mean, that's tough for Sam Darnold, but we'll see. 2 new guys is a little bit different than a quarterback who established himself last year. Not established himself as a good player, but established himself in the locker room. And everybody that's ever played with Teddy Bridgewater loves Teddy Bridgewater. So he would definitely have allies if he was in a competition.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Panthers are in a position here now to upgrade the overall team and go with Sam Darnold. I haven't
picked up his 5th-year option yet.
Well, no, I mean, when do they have to do that? When's the deadline?
Season starts.
I mean, I don't know if you necessarily have to pick that up before the season starts. I mean, I don't know if that's something you have to do. If I'm the Panthers, though, at 8, I think there are so many different areas you can go now to upgrade your team. I mean, for you were talking about doing all your homework. You got all your paperwork there in front of you. If we're looking strictly at the Panthers right now, biggest position of need in your opinion?
Offensive line. No, that's terrible. They haven't had a good offensive line maybe in the history of their franchise.
And correct me if I'm wrong, because I tune out occasionally, but Rashawn Slater is probably the best option there. You think Sewell will be gone by the time they get to 8?
Yeah, apparently something popped up in Slater's medical recently, and there's word that he might drop, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Amazing how that happens on the day before the draft. The way that information comes out in this thing is just so dramatic. It's unbelievable to me. Well, and you're talking about the Panthers now for the draft, and I feel like the Broncos are in good shape now to move forward and not necessarily have to reach for a quarterback at 9. What I would think would be a smart move would end up to be trading down. And if you don't have your guy right there at 9, get a little bit more value and move on down, because you're not seeing that, Patrick? No,
I think it's time to be. I think the Broncos they're too well positioned. If you trade down to get more picks, like at a certain time, you have too many picks, and they don't have needs like that. Their need is quarterback. I think this is the time to push the chips in and move up. Like, Atlanta's begging for someone to take their pick at 4. They put out something yesterday that says they just haven't gotten an offer they like. That to me means they've gotten offered basically nothing. Like they were offered like a pick swap and maybe a second round pick. They want multiple firsts, and if all it takes for Denver to move up is they're 9 this year and a first round pick next year, and they can get up to number 4, I would do that in a heartbeat. Maybe I would wait until the pick is actually up and you can see who San Francisco takes first. And if they take Mac Jones and you really like Justin Fields, then just go get Justin Fields. There's too much waiting around. You guys they've whipped on quarterbacks for 6 or 7 years now. Trevor Siemian, Paxton Lynch, like Case Keenum. You just
forget about Paxton Lynch. Yeah.
The worst quarterbacks, just super average and have not been able to hit yet. Just go be aggressive. Your team's too good. I would not be patient as a Broncos fan right now.
So, Tim, I think now is a good time to remind everybody that we will do a live stream tonight for the draft. And the reason I say that is because I feel like the highlight of the live stream will be the third pick of the draft. This is where Patrick will hit the red siren button, and we'll get exhilarating, exciting something. Because, Patrick, what you're essentially saying, I think you said it yesterday. I think you said it. I'm not having to say it for you. Is the draft begins at 3. We're locked in. You can basically zone out for picks 1 and 2. Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, done deal. Go ahead, you can buy your jersey today with no regard for something bad happening. But at 3, Mac Jones could go. It could be Justin Fields. The 49ers could have smoke screened everybody and take Trey Lance.
Well, the conspiracy theory that's going around is that the whole time they've liked Justin Fields the most, but Robert Saleh is the coach in New York now. It was obviously Kyle Shanahan's defensive coordinator the last few years. They clearly talk, and they've made it clear that Zach Wilson will be the selection at 2, and Kyle's playing coy because you don't want to pump up Justin Fields too much because then Saleh will say, wait a minute, are we making a mistake by taking Zach Wilson? Like, Shanahan's the quarterback guru. Like, he knows more than me, clearly. I'm a defensive coordinator. Should we think about this more? And we should be considering Justin Fields? So if they pick Justin Fields, it'll actually be kind of fascinating. Like, I wonder if Justin Fields will feel any animosity towards them for just potentially – I think it would be kind of obvious that they were behind a lot of the tarnishing of his reputation, basically, which has been all that's going on for the last couple of months. Like, it'd be a little weird. But I do like the conspiracy theory.
So, Tim, misinformation about information. I feel like this is right up your alley for conspiracy.
Don't forget hypothetical misinformation or conspiracy theories at this point. Oh.
But pumping up Mac Jones, all the 49ers fans are furious about it, and there's no way that the Jets were going to consider, hey, maybe Mac Jones should be the pick at number 2. Maybe we've got this all wrong. We should take Mac Jones. Like, they're not going to think that. But with Justin Fields, they might. So I'm hoping for the sake of 49ers fans that's Justin Fields. Like I can't imagine. I just think it would be ridiculous for it to be Mac Jones, but we'll see.
I'm hoping Patrick's going to make sure to rest up for tonight. Looking forward to that live stream. We're going to start at 8 o'clock, just how you're watching right now on the video stream, YouTube, Facebook Live, also up and rolling on the Twitter, the station Twitter handle at 1075 The Game. The live stream sponsored by Buford Lending. Looking forward to having everybody on board tonight. Chris, on board this morning on Facebook live stream, says, morning to everybody. Today is Patrick's Day. Agreed with you on that one, sir. And then he adds, artificial turf in football makes more sense than artificial dirt on a baseball field. Yeah, no doubt about that.
I don't.
Shot at Vandy or Texas there.
Texas. Yeah, I didn't get into that artificial turf discussion. I get why the Panthers are doing it. You got the college games that they're going to have. You mentioned the soccer and obviously the NFL. I just wonder what it's going to look like because they've done it in certain places. They've done a good job with the artificial turf of making it look more realistic. I mean, at the end of the day, we're not the ones running on it.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to look great. The only thing that matters is that the players are going to get hurt more often. Just a fact, and they hate it. So, sure, look,
they're going to do the same turf at that's been done in Atlanta, Detroit, New England now, Seattle. And the Jets and the Giants, as well as, 11 practice facilities, the specific type of turf they're going to go with. And now, you guys want to guess, out of the 32 NFL teams, how many will be playing on grass? How many will be playing on turf? Let's go with how many artificial turf fields now in the NFL for the 32 teams out there?
How many artificial? We're going artificial.
I'd
How many-
say
how many
slightly less than half. So I'll say like 14.
Bill, what's your guess?
Oh, I was trying to quickly see. Well, what there's
I
32 teams,
would have to
32
think out how many
teams, but
teams there
31
are.
stadiums.
30 stadiums.
That's a good point.
30 stadiums. LA and New York both share.
Okay, so 30 teams. Yeah, I'll say half. I'll actually go a step further, and I'll go. The majority is turf, because that means 15 and 15, and just trying to quickly run through my head, I'm thinking that there's at least 15 turf stadiums.
Yeah, 14 is what I have it at. 16 grass venues is what the
Close.
article says. So excellent guesses. Basically, half and half, right? And practicality, I get it. We're in the 21st century and the whole thing, but having gone to Bank of America Stadium, having been down on that field before, great track usually, and it's just there's something that is lost, I think, with the artificial turf. Maybe I'm just an old dude, but I don't enjoy that so much. Morgan hits us up on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line, 803-404-6100. Is Charlotte planning on building a soccer stadium in the future? Is the turf temporary? I have not read about it yet. Thanks, guys. Not a lone soccer stadium that I'm aware of, and this turf is coming in, and it's going to be the future there, Charlotte and Bank of America.
Well, let me ask, with David Tepper, and there's all this talk about he's going to move the practice facility and everything that he's going to do, and Bank of America is getting a little dated, and we see everybody building these stadiums. How long do you think Bank of America Stadium stays around?
Yeah, that's another hypothetical, I think, going around with the new Panthers facility and the whole thing. I think it's good for the relatively foreseeable future, but we'll see. It's in a good spot as far as get to it, and it's featured. If you drive through Charlotte, you're on I-77 right through there. I think it's a pretty cool spot. I'm always a fan of the downtown stadium, the stadium that is attached to like the city skyline or landscape. I don't know about you guys. Patrick, you're probably the best to ask here because of the Washington football team's situation, having moved from RFK out to the kind of the middle of nowhere. And what do you? Yeah, I don't think
it's quite possibly the worst stadium in the NFL, and the location is a large part of that. It's a pain to get to. I think parking was a nightmare early on, and it's gotten easier, but everyone wants it to be back in DC. They want to basically rip down RFK and put it right there. The only problem is that's on federal land, and Congress needs to pass it, and apparently they're not allowing it. There's like some congressman in Arizona that's holding it all up, apparently, and Washington fans are not happy about it.
big Cardinals fan, I'm sure.
I guess so.
We've seen it the other way too. I feel like the new park for the Braves has been pretty well received. And speaking of that, the Braves making big news yesterday as well, going to 100% capacity in just about a week. May 7th is the date, I guess. So it was a week from Saturday, I think, that the Atlanta Braves will be 100% capacity in Major League Baseball. We have come a long way since this time last year when the NFL draft was really the only sporting event at all. It was completely virtual, but it was hanging up. The NFL was certainly our light at the end of the tunnel at that point, or our lighthouse kind of beacon from a year ago. And also it was what LSU. Bill announcing basically the same thing, but the LSU's not messing around at all. They're just saying, all right, we're doing it now, 100% capacity.
Yeah,
let's go, moving forward.
Yeah, LSU goes
things to come.
Full sports, all sports, 100% capacity, and so you'll get baseball and softball and all their spring sports starting this weekend, and then that's what football will be. I'd be surprised if South Carolina doesn't have 100% capacity at football games for the fall. That's still a ways away. It'll be here before you know it, but it's still a ways away. So, but we'll see. But yeah, some good signs yesterday, and even was talking to Austin last night about trying to get over to a Braves game in the very near future. Stayed up last night and watched them. Sorry, Jim. Absolutely drill the Cubs last night. There, I was 10-0. So True. It's a good point. The Cubs waved the white flag earlier.
Well, Rizzo, Freddie Freeman's that bad. If you guys haven't seen that, man, that's fun. And then the reaction from Freeman, I retweeted some of his post-game comments, and the quote that stands out to me is the one that I feel like we need to put on a T-shirt, and it needs to be the defining words of this show. He says that's what baseball is, talking about facing his buddy Anthony Rizzo, who plays first for the Cubs. But then that's what sports is. It's to put a smile on people's faces. And he strikes out last night, and he couldn't have found it funnier as he walks back to the dugout. He had 4 for 4 before then. That probably helped it.
Wow. Freeman's having a blast because of what his team was doing last night. You guys, not so much. I totally agree.
10-0 too. And remember, Atlanta the Braves fans were flipping out, Jen. Maybe this will help you feel a little bit better after one hit performance combined in a doubleheader. They looked like the team that won the NL East and were very close to knocking off the Dodgers and maybe winning it, going on to a World Series win. It didn't quite happen last year for the Braves, but they definitely looked a lot more like that team in the last couple of days. And last night as well, Marcell Ozuna's last. Apparently now you just stop on your way to first and do whatever you want to when you know you hit one out. I love these guys having fun in baseball. Also, I wanted to get to a tweet from ESPN's Bill Connolly, big college football guy, about returning production in college football for 2021. South Carolina with an interesting number beside its football program as far as returning production for 2021. We'll do that as we continue to roll on this morning. Obviously, all things NFL draft with our expert, Patrick Perrett. You can find him on Twitter @_Patrick Perrett. Bill is @Will Gunter with 1L. Jen is @Jen Jensen Moore. She's holding things down, producing from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios in downtown Columbia. I'm @TimHill1075 on Twitter. It's the early game here on 1075 The Game. Oh, good start to the day for Craig.
Yeah, I saw that. That's how you like to get it going.
You guys seeing this?
Yeah, Patrick, you've been flickering here in the last couple of minutes. So.
This camera is brand new.
New doesn't mean better. Doesn't mean a better picture, but
Here's the user manual.
if it craps out on you tonight.
Woo. I mean, I can use a computer camera, but it isn't as good. I bought this very recently. Got to be a troubleshooting page on here somewhere. Oh man, I threw out the box too. Done that.
Cracker Barrel. You know what? I think this is the first Cracker Barrel commercial I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, they don't need to advertise. Some places are too good that they don't need to advertise.
That was the first time I've ever seen a fried chicken commercial for Cracker Barrel. And it made me realize I don't know the last time I had fried chicken. I kind of now want fried chicken.
We used to have Cracker Barrel rocking chairs on our porch for like my entire life. Very good.
Like your family bought them from Cracker Barrel, or you're just comparing them to Cracker Barrel?
No, if you go to Cracker Barrel on the front porch, they have all this nice like wooden furniture.
Yeah, no, I've been to a Cracker Barrel. I know what you're talking about.
I'm pretty sure they bought them at Cracker Barrel. They were really nice. We're going to have the comment section today do the Ian Rappaport and Adam Schefter agreement that they won't tip picks.
Yeah, they're going to have tonight.
Yeah, because we'll all be watching on a streaming device.
Yeah.
Or through internet connection. I guess we can figure out whose internet's the best as the picks come in. That's what I always have to do for football games. Like in the first quarter, at some point, I'll just call my dad and ask him what the time on the clock is or what the down is, so I understand how many plays behind him I am.
Okay. Did y'all see this text from Noah?
Yeah.
So it's a little different, but when we used to go into the field house and play, I'd go play with some play some pickup football games in the field house. It wasn't the rubber burns that bothered me the most. It was the little, the little rubber beads, and they'd get in your shoes or get in your clothes, and you'd be like, especially your shoes and your socks, and you'd be covered in them. I don't know if you guys, Patrick, if you played lacrosse, if you had games like that where you played on turf and you'd have those little rubber.
So, lacrosse is only played on turf, really. Every college has a turf field. Lacrosse is
really
shouldn't be played on anything but turf. Yeah.
Why is that?
Because the bounces are bounce shots are very much a part of the game, and it's a pure bounce on turf, and it's kind of a competitive disadvantage for the goalies. If there's weird spots in the grass, they can't judge the ball, and picking the ball up off the turf is much easier than picking it up off the grass when you might hit a patch or something like that. Every lacrosse player would only want to play on turf.
How about that? Look at that. That is some good lacrosse knowledge this morning. Yeah. That is a lacrosse fun fact I did not know.
I didn't play a single game on grass after high school.
I just would have assumed since your lacrosse mainly it's becoming more popular down here, but it's played in the Northeast. It's easier to maintain. Like you're talking about playing lacrosse games in basically ice or snow-covered stadiums. It's easier to maintain a lacrosse field.
You just plow the snow right off the turf. Yeah. Plow the snow right off the top of the turf. It's easy.
Welcome, Brian. Yes, I do believe, and the reason I say welcome is because this is the kind of stuff you get on the live stream. Lacrosse discussion on fields.
Is there a state that wouldn't do it in the SEC is what I'm thinking? I'm guessing like Missouri might be an outlier, I think it depends on the state, but I was trying to think and go through. I think most see it pretty similarly in the Southeast.
Also, this shouldn't go unnoticed. I hate the Cracker Barrel change their opening hours. What time do they open now? What time do they used to open? I would like a Gamecock rocking chair, though. I don't think they're cheap at Cracker Barrel.
That's right.
If you're not tuning into the live video stream, you miss the off-air conversation that was sparked by Noah, I think, on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. As I told Heath last night, Noah says, anyone who's actually fallen, tackled, or actually played on a rubber field knows you can't beat real grass. Grass stings compared to rubber burns, and that got off into a lacrosse conversation here with Patrick Perrette being a former D1 lacrosse player. That's just what lacrosse is these days. Is that what you're saying, Patrick, on artificial turf?
Yeah, I mean, most of the lacrosse schools are in the Northeast, so you can't maintain the grass there in the winter anyway, and lacrosse starts in late January, which is also something that causes drama in the lacrosse community. It should be starting like a month or two later than it does. But yeah, when there's like bounce shots are a big part of the game and goalies can't get a read on the bounce, it's coming from patches of grass, and picking the ball up off the turf is more consistent and easier than in grass. So every lacrosse game I played on in college was on turf, and I don't even know if there's a Division I school that plays with grass anymore.
And we're bringing this up today because yesterday the Carolina Panthers putting that news out right before they put out the news that Teddy Bridgewater had been shipped to Denver for a 6th-round pick. $10 million owed him. The Panthers paying $7 million of that. The Broncos only on the hook for $3 million there. Dennis on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. Don't know if I agree with Patrick's or the Panthers, getting rid of Teddy Bridgewater. 15 touchdowns, 69% completion percentage, 11 interceptions under year number 1 of a new system without your best player in Christian McCaffrey for most of the year. Sam Darnold still a big question mark, Dennis continues, and still under a rookie contract, I believe. Why not keep Bridgewater for at least one more year? Let him compete with Darnold. The Panthers also paying that $7 million of Bridgewater's salary next year. And then he ends with shine, draft guru Patrick. Shine. He understands today is Patrick's day as well. Well, to me, what it comes down to is what you said, Patrick, in the last segment. Because on paper, Dennis is completely correct. Like the numbers, certainly not terrible. And why wouldn't you want to have a little extra insurance at a position that is the most highly volatile in sports, right? Or most highly injury probable in sports, and just have him there for insurance. I get that. And Bridgewater's a good locker room guy, but there's no way when you're dealing with the human beings in the locker room that Sam Darnold could kind of move forward confidently having Teddy Bridgewater there, knowing what he represented, I think, to a lot of the players, and having heard the Panthers say, yeah, he's our guy. And then you have to kind of tiptoe around that. And if you keep him, clearly you don't have the confidence in Sam Darnold that you would like to exude or kind of put in him. And to me, it just doesn't work when you get down to the human level like that. Bill, you on board, or are you more with where Dennis is coming from a logistical standpoint? Probably would make more sense to keep Teddy Bridgewater around if you're the Carolina Panthers.
I think the Panthers they believe in Darnold and that's their guy. I don't think they take a quarterback tonight. And we've talked a little bit about this. If you look at the balance of the South, of the NFC South, and you've obviously, Patrick, we talked about it yesterday. The Buccaneers, is it all 22 guys, all 22 starters
Yeah,
they got back?
Even more than that, it was like their top 16 snap takers on defense and their top 13 or 16 on offense and 13 on defense.
But that's the record, Bill. All 22 starters has never happened before in the salary cap age.
So what I was going to say, if you look at the Panthers, and the reason why I like the Sam Darnold move, I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I like to me, it's conviction. They think they've got their guy. And if you look at the NFC South, the Bucs have got another year, maybe 2 years, and then you feel like that's gonna go elsewhere. And then if you look at the Saints and the Falcons don't know what they're doing, right? They're kind of they're talking about trading Julio Jones. Matt Ryan's kind of floating out there. They're kind of stuck right now, but it looks like they're heading for a rebuild very soon, very, very soon. And the Saints, obviously, now they're moving on to Jameis Winston. The Drew Brees era is over. I feel like the Saints are entering a rebuild. So to me, what I see the Panthers doing is gearing up. They see the window opening in 2 to 3 years. Get Sam Darnold in there. Find out if he's going to be the guy. And if he is, you're set up and you're ready to go with your quarterback and hopefully whoever else you put around him. You got Christian McCaffrey. Maybe you add another offensive weapon tonight. Maybe you do go that offensive line. But, I mean, you could go in there tonight and take another wide receiver. You know, somebody's going to be there that I think, Patrick, you would like. And you could add them and give Sam Darnold another big-time weapon to be able to throw the ball to.
Yeah, I don't know that they're completely sold on Darnold, but the fact is, like, you need to give him a full, uncontested shot at this thing. So Teddy Bridgewater there is just not going to help. Like, you know what Teddy Bridgewater is at this point. Yeah, they didn't have McCaffrey last year, but they had one of the best receiving trios in football with DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, and Robbie Anderson. He played his worst season of his career, and they lost their record with one-score games was abysmal. So, I mean, I think you realize, like, yeah, Teddy's fine, but you're just treading water with him. Like, if Darnold, you give Darnold a shot and he's good, all right, sweet, lock him up, and that's your quarterback going forward. Build the roster around him. If he stinks, all right, well, if he's really bad, then you're picking in the top 5 or top 10 again next year, and you can make a move and get the quarterback that you actually need. Teddy Bridgewater, worst case, you're going to be picking, I don't know, you might be picking in like the low teens or something like that. Like, it's just, you got to chase upside at this point because you know what Teddy Bridgewater's peak is.
All right, let's do this real quick, just because you make a great point. If Darnold's really bad, Tim, I'll give you first go with this. Who's in the top 5 quarterbacks? I'm drawing a blank. I'm sure there's somebody I should be thinking of. Best quarterback.
You know who the number 1 pick's going to be.
I'm drawing a blank. Is it Sam Howell?
That's going to be Spencer Rattler, probably. I don't know. I'm just saying. Really? So the big 3 is actually right now before the season. Obviously, I don't know every year.
Exactly.
It's Spencer Rattler, Sam Howell, and Keaton Levis. But these Oklahoma kids just go number 1 every single year now. So whenever there's a quarterback from Oklahoma that's draft eligible, he's probably going to go number 1.
All right, just that could be. I don't know if they'd get the number.
Go ahead and lock in Caleb Williams as the number 1 pick in 2024 as well. So.
But I just all I'm looking at here is I like the Panthers move, and you mentioned the wide receivers. I think they're in a great position. It might not be this year or next year, but they're in a good position. I'm with you. No need to create a divide. Turn it over. Sam Darnold will be 24 in June. He is young. Look, and if people are like me, you just don't believe in Adam Gase, right?
Right.
That's part of this.
That's where I was going to go, except Todd, I guess, is maybe the one person not on board with this. He says on the text line, Sam Darnold is a bust. I don't know why people keep tiptoeing around that he is a bust. Well, it's because the Jets have been the Jets, and Adam Gase turned into what he turned into. And who's a skilled player they helped him out with in New York? Who do they surround him with? Right. Well, I mean, he had Robbie Anderson, I guess, for a little while. But
that's kind of the problem in Carolina now, too, though. He's not in a great position right now. Like, they were pretty loaded last year, but they lost Curtis Samuel. Their offensive line is still not good. There's not a tight end worth anything on that roster right now. Like, they do have some work to do. So, at that number 8 pick, you got to get somebody that's going to contribute this year. If it's Rashawn Slater and you can plug a spot on the offensive line, do it, but you need something to help it because you can't just move him from one bad situation to another. You've got Joe Brady now, so at least you're confident in play calling, but McCaffrey's got to stay healthy. You need another wide receiver, and you need that offensive line to be better. Don't just move him from one just completely talentless roster to another.
And I'll say this: it's not that I disagree with Todd. Sam Darnold has been a bust, but I blame the Jets. I don't blame Sam Darnold. There is a difference there. I can see Joe Brady being able to get that career going for him because I do think Sam Darnold could be a good quarterback. I blame the Jets. Now, maybe he comes down and stinks in Charlotte and everything's entirely different. But I'll take Sam Darnold and Joe Brady over Sam Darnold and Adam Gase any day of the week right now and see what Joe Brady can do with him. And as Patrick said, if I'm the Panthers, Patrick, you kind of who is a left tackle out there that you could get that's suitable in free agency, or is there somebody a little bit further down the board? What was your board the other day? Short-armed left tackles there.
Yeah, well, I think that there's going to be 3 offensive linemen taken in the top, I think, 13, and that will be Penei Sewell from Oregon, obviously, Rashawn Slater from Northwestern, and Christian Darrisaw, the left tackle from Virginia Tech, who is just a mammoth of a human being and really powerful, and I just think he's going to shoot up. So yeah, I think 3 probably.
Yeah. So if you're the Carolina Panthers, you got to do that, in my opinion, with what their line has been. I get it that maybe Devontae Smith is there. That's what Craig says. Take him. To me, first of all, not a guarantee that he is going to be a front line, a number 1 NFL receiver, but just from a size standpoint, and then just to put the perception out there. That's what I think the Carolina Panthers and David Tepper have done, because from my perception, they were going after Deshaun Watson until all this mess popped up here in the last few weeks about the lawsuits and the whole thing, and then you couldn't do that. And they relatively quickly, I think, pivoted their plan and showed to me that they got some adjustability, if you will. They can make some decisions and make some adjustments on the fly. And going Sam Darnold as a backup plan here, not bad. Making this move for Teddy Bridgewater makes a lot of sense to me, and it clears the way. Now, if they don't go offensive lineman tonight, then I'm going to be very confused. And the perception is going to be like, all right, what are you guys doing? Did you have the master plan? Because it doesn't look like you had the master plan at all. But you go offensive line tonight, and you clearly show your fan base, you clearly show the league that you're valuing your quarterback and you're setting things up in kind of the proper way, in my opinion, for to have success in the long run.
Or trade down.
Yeah, or trade down and figure in and have a plan from a free agency standpoint. But the free agent pickups I think they made in the offseason on the offensive line haven't wowed anybody. So I think that's where you'd be in trouble with your own fan base if you go out, you get a quarterback, and then you don't invest to protect him. So I'm expecting that to happen tonight for the Carolina.
I think you got to give him weapons. And the one guy, the Bengals, a lot of talk about Penny Sewell or Penei Sewell, I think that's how you say it correctly, or Jamar Chase. If they go with Sewell, does Chase fall past the Dolphins and Lions, Patrick?
No.
Dolphins, Lions definitely gonna take him.
I just would be really surprised if the top three non-quarterbacks aren't Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase, and Penei. I think they'll be enough.
If Chase is there at 8, if Chase is there at 8, I don't know who the Dolphins need. You take him over anybody else.
Yeah, you don't pass on blue chips. Can't do it.
God, that was right there.
We can get into the Jamar Chase thing. I really think he's going to be the pick at 5, and I think it will be the right decision.
803-404-6100, the number into the program. Do you see what Kevin did to you on the text line? He's always wanting you to look stuff up, Patrick.
Oh, it's May 3rd. I don't know what date it is, or I know it's the 29th. I don't know how many days.
May 3rd is Monday.
Okay, so Monday is correct, yeah.
Kevin said he heard Dallas has until Monday to make a decision on, I don't even know who he's talking about.
Vander Esch, I assume.
Yeah, LVE. All right, Kevin.
Yeah,
At the time that you texted us twice in 25 minutes, couldn't you have looked it up?
He might be driving it.
Sounds like he knew the answer and just.
I think he just maybe wanted us to say, yeah, Kevin was right. All right, if that's
right,
the problem. Nice work, Kevin. So Monday, that will be another interesting part of this thing. If the Carolina Panthers go offensive line and then they decide to pick up the 5th-year option on Sam Darnold by Monday, a lot's going to go down here in the next several days from the NFL perspective. That's why Patrick's so pumped up, and we are pumped up as well, maybe to a slightly lesser degree. The number besides South Carolina I mentioned in the college football production returning that Bill Connolly, the college football kind of numbers guru, has put out is shocking. It is 3rd to last in all of college football, 125th out of 127 as far as returning production for 2021. We'll discuss more about what that might mean when we come back and as we move on this morning. It's the early game. It's 107.5 the game. Patrick, what can we get up on the board?
What
I got it. Well, here's where we start with for at least a little bit before you erase it. Top 5 draft night foods. Is it wings? Do you throw some nachos in there? Because I was just thinking, is it pizza? Do you go with just a pizza? Because if you go wings and you have teriyaki, then it makes it a little harder for you to switch over and grab your pencil or your pen. You're gonna have to be wiping. You can be a little sticky.
Yeah, for me, yeah. We might even eliminate all finger foods from discussion here.
Yeah, you have to go straight to the fork. I mean, boneless wings that you just stab with your fork. Is that the direction?
I can just put I actually kind of know what my menu is going to be tonight. Should I just put my menu for tonight on there?
Yeah, do it. Come on, label it as War Room menu.
All right.
Craig says tuna tartar.
Yeah.
Well done, Craig. Well done. And by the way, if you guys want to get in on this live stream tonight, just send me an email. A bunch of you already done it. I assume you've gotten the link back. I'm at 1075thegame.com. That'll come to me just as easily as that email address I gave to you yesterday. Anthony. Oh, yeah. Anthony, we need you in on the live stream tonight. I mean, you have sponsored the whiteboard.
Also, he's a Niners fan, and
Right?
you guys have the biggest pick of the night.
We need you in, man. So just hit me up, Tim at 1075thegame.com. Send you a link back. We're going to try to get this going here.
There you go. Pop that on up. Pop that baby on up.
And it's kind of 8 until JC Horn, at least. That's what we're thinking tonight. We'll see how it's going.
One more road to cross. One more bridge to
Right. So I'm going to eat tonight. Ooh, that's not very. It's kind of hard to see, isn't it?
What?
Yep.
Yeah, what color did you use there?
That's green.
Yeah,
You
green
need a thicker pen is what you need. I feel like I think you need a thicker
Some chisel tips.
pen.
I gotta go. I'm going to the grocery store after this ends, so I'll see if they have expo markers there.
Yeah.
And green is just a terrible color anyway. Green and yellow. Well, no, except for John Deere. But Packers wise, it's a horrible color.
That one looks great.
There you go.
Yeah, much better.
Bill would like that to be our new intro about your colors, Jen. He loved that take, I can tell.
Did you hear that?
Well,
Where did she go straight to? John Deere. Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What else is? What, are you
I
thinking?
get
What
it.
else is green?
I like it because of the Packers. I got it. But she goes to, oh, John Deere.
Well, because I felt like I had to defend. I've got the coolest old timey sprinkler. It's a little John Deere tractor. It's metal. I mean, this is old because it was my uncle's, but like there's a propeller on it that so it sprinkles water. It's a tractor. Like it's really cool.
Can you drive it?
No, I think it technically was supposed to move at one time, kind of with the water. But propelled just by the water itself. But it's kind of a fun old. I'll have to take a picture and send it. It's kind of cool.
But doesn't it? So it's immobile. It's just sitting out in the yard.
Like I said, I think at one time it might have moved, like as the water kind of propelled through from the hose. It might have forced it a little bit. But yeah, and basically there's just a propeller on it. And water comes out both ends and just. Yeah, it's just kind of a decorative little sprinkler. Did you hear?
A decorative little sprinkler.
I know.
31, Craig. Ugh. That's nasty. You can go 31? I don't even comprehend that. You would have gone 43, 51, then I'm with you. 31? Holy crap.
Because he was drunk for the second half and miscounted.
Oh, some
Played 9
pots.
holes.
What is that? Buffalo cheese bites? What is that? I need to.
Buffalo chicken bites. I have some real good buffalo chicken bites.
Brookies?
I don't think you guys are aware of the Brookies.
No, I've never heard of a brookie.
It's a brownie cookie combination, isn't it?
Yeah, Trader Joe's has these ones that are like yay big. They're unbelievable.
All right, we're headed back in. Hitting the bump at about 30. Guys are up.
Kind of ironic, Ryan Helinski goes to one of two programs in all of college football that now has less returning production than South Carolina. Northwestern is 126th, right behind South Carolina at number 125, according to ESPN. Connolly, 38% returning production for Northwestern. The Gamecocks with 47%. BYU is last, 32% of its returning production from last year. If it makes you feel any better, the Gamecocks behind a couple of really good programs in Ohio State and Notre Dame are way down there on the list. And the ones at the top of the list, Toledo and Wyoming. Toledo has 98% of its production coming back for 2021. Wyoming, 95%. Louisiana, actually a pretty good team right there at number 3. But I think the percentage of teams with a large number coming back in 2021 is higher than it's ever been, maybe because of the COVID stuff. So it would be something to keep an eye on, Bill, as it pertains to returning production for college football teams, especially the Gamecocks being way down on that list. Clemson, by the way, at number 100, so they're pretty far down the list as well. Do you make anything of that number, sir?
Nah. It honestly, given that South Carolina only lost Shi Smith, really, and I guess J.C. Horn, it tells me that basically those two produced everything.
Hour number 2 coming up here on the early game.
Yeah, I don't get that stat. Is that supposed to be based on like how do they factor in? I guess
I don't get it either.
offensive line. Is it just snaps? Should they said snaps? Maybe I don't.
No, I think they went with more like receiving yards, rushing yards, tackles.
How can that be though? Because
Because Kevin Harris right there alone should probably put you. I mean, he's back and he was basically a third of the offense.
Yeah, but I'm not even talking. I'm just talking about Ole
But the
Miss.
number's at 47%. So who else you adding in beside Harris?
Okay, so it can't. Well, Ole Miss gained. Oh, this is a wild number. 5,555 yards last year,
Right.
and Elijah Moore by himself had over 1,200 all-purpose yards.
Yeah, but who threw it to him?
Matt Corral.
And
Who's
who's coming?
back? So if your quarterback's back, then you have like at least 80% production coming back. Because
Yeah,
the top
a bunch.
receivers, Kenny Abo is gone too. He caught for 600 yards, so that's almost 3,000 yards. That's almost 3,000 of their 5,000 receiving yards.
Right.
Or,
But
sorry, 2,000 of their 5,000 receiving yards.
but when you had like Colin Hill throwing to Shi Smith, you lose both of those numbers, right?
Yeah, but it just seems like a very high thing to put them at, what, 83, I think?
Ole Miss.
I think, yeah. 81%.
Yeah, I think he's probably weighing quarterback numbers a little bit more, maybe. I don't know exactly how he did it.
Yeah. He must be. Let's see. Who else is losing quarterbacks? Texas A&M's got to be way down there then.
Let's see where A&M is. Texas is way down at 115.
Yeah, because North Carolina's pretty high on there. LSU's very high on there.
Yeah, 47.
But over 80% compared to
Right.
the 30s.
55 for North Carolina.
Yeah.
I don't see A&M.
I don't either. So the 116 for A&M.
Oh, yeah, you're exactly right. Oh, right behind Texas. For some reason, I can't see.
Who else is cool?
Yeah, but look at you got Florida at 118, Alabama at 120, Tennessee at 122, and South Carolina at 125, the lowest SEC teams. Georgia's not far above them at 111. Kentucky.
Clemson's at, I just don't understand. 69% of their production is, I guess, just because their whole defense came back. But, I mean, they lost Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, and their top 2 receivers, or 2 of their top receivers.
You got to remember, from a numbers standpoint, they still got decent production from the backup quarterback just because of Lawrence being out a few times.
Yeah.
That's got to help.
One more road to cross. One.
So, Bill, what's the word on that quarterback from Delaware? Tomorrow he's making the decision, right?
I don't think anybody knows. I really
Oh,
don't
yeah?
think anybody seems to know.
To me, that would be a classic Gamecock quarterback scenario, especially if Marshawn Lloyd and Debo Williams turn out to kind of fulfill their promise. And this poor kid from Delaware will already be crowned the SEC Player of the Year, three-time Heisman Trophy winner before he steps foot on campus. Just because he's from the same state.
I'll say this: if they don't get him, I don't know where they go. They will have struck out on 3 or 4 of their top quarterback targets.
Oh, we're gonna sing "Happy Birthday" to Jen on the stream today.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Today's not the birthday, is it, Jen?
Not mine.
Oh.
My mom's.
Oh, your mom's birthday. I saw a tweet that said "Happy Birthday, Jen." I was like, oh wait, it was a reply to your mom's birthday. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Bill's going to require us to sing "Happy Birthday" today, tomorrow, Monday, even though he's off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's about a week of celebration, isn't that typically?
I think he has a birthday month.
Yeah.
Probably needs a couple more bottles of Crown.
I'll crown him.
Was an impressive display yesterday. I'm not going to lie, Bill.
Yeah. That was pretty impressive.
What?
Your display of beverages yesterday was pretty impressive.
Oh, thank you. Very proud of
What's your menu? What's your menu tonight?
I don't know. That's why I started thinking about it. I don't know, because I'll probably do pizza with the kids tomorrow night when we get down to the beach. So I don't really care to do pizza back-to-back nights. I don't know. We're not starting. What time are we? What time are we officially going on?
8 p.m.
So right at the beginning, we're not gonna have like a 10-minute like warm-up segment.
Have you ever seen the NFL draft?
Right. 8 o'clock is warming
What's
up.
the over/under? What's the over/under on how long it takes for the Jags to select Trevor Lawrence? Do they use all? Is it 15 minutes?
15 and a half is where I'd put it.
I think we'll be lucky if his name is called by 8:45.
Oh, come on. It's not going to be that bad. I'll take that under.
I'll get on at 7 and I'll just read off this entire list until I get to 144.
I'm sorry? About what?
So you're planning on
I'll just read my
moving away-
entire list, all my prospect rankings, and I'll give heights and weights and
Awesome.
and pro day times.
Well, what's the Don Julio 42?
Yeah,
That tequila?
that's pretty. It's pricey, right? It's pricey because I don't know if I'm into pricey tequila.
All right, guys are up.
7:03. Tequila might have just come up in the off-air conversation. It's draft day. All the rules are out the window, and we're going to do a live video stream tonight. No radio rules, just on the internet only. Who knows what's going to happen here? Bill was showing off the decorations around the house yesterday. The liquid decorations.
The beverage collection. Yeah, the beverage collection. Yeah. Be a good night. It'll be fun. Actually, you've got that topic, but Patrick and I are also debating the proper, as Patrick calls it, the war room menu. What we'll be having for food tonight, and as we said with Patrick, this is a very delicate decision. Now he's gone buffalo chicken bites and tots, and we got to remember Patrick will probably have do you have a favorite pin that you'll be using as well? Because I said you couldn't go wings. Patrick couldn't go wings because then you get your fingers are all messy. You got sauce on them. You got dry rub stuff on them. Then you're going down and picking up your pen. It gets all over your paper. I think that's a big a huge draft night faux pas for someone like you?
I do have a favorite pen. It's right here. It's very cool and wooden and nice. It's from Australia.
Okay.
But I use pencil for draft stuff because there's a lot of corrections and erasing and things like that. So my whole list is written in pencil.
So
In your
much
whole list,
like many of the
meaning-
Yeah, it's actually hard at work correcting my list because I have a list like for that I'll check off because that is the order in which I would want people taken like for Washington. But then I try to do a more objective list because like we have a loaded defensive line, so I'm putting defensive linemen way down on my list. Thankfully, it's a weak defensive line class anyway. But like Christian Barmore from Alabama is an awesome prospect, but he wouldn't be in my top 32 at least for Washington because there's no situation in which I take him in the first round because we don't need it. So I have to change it up and make it more objective rather than team specific.
So you're not doing your best available. You're doing the Washington football team's best available.
No, that's why I fixed it last night. That's why I was hard at work for the last couple of hours.
Hey, we appreciate the professionalism here on the program that a guy like sunglass donning Bill Gunter now brings to the show because the sun is 7:05 off of Lake Murray, just too much to handle. Is that where you're at?
Get a little bright. The day is going to be so great. It's a little bright.
You know, no one's making you face the sun, right? It's just you've got yourself set up.
Actually, a couple weeks ago, you told me that the angle is better for me. I don't want to say you're making me, but you basically said the angle is better.
You can't give a guy a compliment. Otherwise, painted in. Nobody puts Bill in the corner except Bill in his own.
I tried to move one day. I tried to move one day to fix it, and then y'all complained. So stick with what works, even if I got to wear the glasses.
All right, let's start hour number 2, kind of where we ended hour number 1 there with the college football numbers beside the Gamecocks kind of being startling when it comes to Bill Connelly. Now, Bill Gunter, what do you think of Bill Connelly when it comes to college football? To me, he is a numbers guy and as about an accurate a resource as you can get.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never followed him that much. He's not a guy that I mean, I know who he is and I'm familiar with him, but he's not a guy that as you were saying that with numbers, I think you said something about he is the numbers guy. I think I've always gone to Dave Bartu that as far as a numbers guy and breaking down the analytics of college football and production and things of that nature. So Connelly, I'm not as familiar with, and we were kind of discussing off air. Even on this, I don't know. It seems a little skewed. Patrick was using Mississippi as an example. Basically, you were saying that, hey, if you're returning your starting quarterback, you're already going to be probably in the top half of this statistic. We know South Carolina's offense was, I think you got to say average. When you have a 1,000-yard rusher last year, that doesn't make them horrendous. But at the same time, the passing game lacked. You lose your best wide receiver, the only guy who can make plays. And then I do think, just looking at South Carolina's offense, Nick Muse, I think, is set up for a better year. Coming back from that knee injury late in 2019, I never thought he was completely healthy last year and struggled a little bit. I think he'll have a better year this year. So I'd be interested to factor in his 2019 production with that and just see how much it changes things. But we know the offense was average to below average. Outside of Kevin Harris, you've got massive questions, quarterback, even offensive line, and certainly wide receiver. So I get the statistic. I don't really take anything from it.
Well, if you're just joining us, the statistic we're talking about is Bill Connelly putting out his returning production percentage for college football teams. And typically, if your number is like at 80% or so, I think last year, if you got to 80%, you were in the top 10. This year, 80% gets you in the top 50 barely, or actually some didn't even fall in the top 50, I guess, with percentage points. You guys want to guess? Please don't look at this real quick. But I even as I'm looking at it, I haven't found the answer yet. The number one team in the SEC as far as most returning production. And keep in mind, it is kind of quarterback skewed. Somebody hit us up that was Neil who hit us up on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line, 803-404-6100, by the way, and mentioned that returning production stat seems very quarterback centric. Clemson returns its entire starting defense, a large part of their offensive line. to be at number 100 out of 127 seems suspect, and Kevin Harris back for the Gamecocks and carried the load last year. And Carolina is third to last in this metric. So what SEC
He's saying
team?
100 is high or low for Clemson?
Low.
He's saying it seems awfully low just because mostly everyone is back outside of what Travis Etienne, Trevor Lawrence, and then on the outside as well.
Amari Rodgers and Cornell Powell, and they're starting left tackle. Like that does seem like a lot because Travis Etienne scores 1 million touchdowns, and if it's quarterback centric, they should be much lower. I thought.
No, but he's saying just overall, it seems too quarterback centric.
I agree. I can't.
So, where are you guys going in the SEC? Who do you think is at the top of the list as far as returning production?
Yeah, I bet.
I thought I checked. This is what we were talking about on the live stream.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Auburn. Auburn.
Yeah, I think it's Ole Miss.
I think it's got to be a team.
when
It's got to
is
be a
the-
team based
when
on
is
what
the
we're
show?
just discussing. It's got to be a team with their quarterback returning.
Yeah.
Auburn and Mississippi stand out the most in that category. Auburn has Tank Bigsby back, and I don't know what he finished with, but obviously he was starting to have a really good year. So I'll take Tank
And
Bigsby
what's his
over. Well, I don't know. Jerron Ely is back for Mississippi, so he was a really good running back last year. So I'll go one. It's got to be one of those two. Are we leaving anybody else out, Patrick?
I think it's Ole Miss.
Uh-huh.
Georgia has JT Daniels back, and he finished the season pretty good. And I think they returned all their running backs.
They're gonna have 5 defenders drafted.
And technically George Pickens is back, but we also know that he's
Hopefully
out
so.
now with a torn ACL. Or is he
I think the
expected to
answer is
be
Ole
out?
Miss. I think I'd love
Okay.
it.
Ole Miss
you
is the answer at number 42 in the country.
I looked yesterday, it was retweeted. That's why I said I think I know.
No.
I was just letting you think it out, even though I told you.
I got you. Thank you. I feel like we could have solved that a lot sooner.
We solved it. You were just thinking out loud.
Deep in
I
there.
didn't look.
Talk, so.
I thought we were playing along with Tim, who knew. I didn't realize it was me trying to guess. I got you. Okay.
Auburn's at number 73. Let me give you these numbers.
Right.
74%
Yep, I've been
of
to your
its
website.
production coming back. Ole Miss is at 81%.
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking about relatively small percentage points in between there. I think the more interesting part is there are 2 other SEC teams in between these. Bill, any idea where would you go,
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
Patrick? If you haven't looked
In
recently,
between what?
Ole Miss and Auburn, there are 2 other SEC teams in between those 2 teams that have more production returning than Auburn does.
Okay. LSU for sure, I think, because
Okay.
Miles Brennan
That's pretty cool.
barely played last year, but he's back, and Jamar Chase didn't play, so I don't think he would count against them.
Yes.
It's going to be a relatively weak year for them.
That would be
draft
my
wise.
vote for you, right?
LSU is correct,
Yeah,
and it was number
another
2
first.
as far as returning production in the SEC behind Ole Miss. Now there's the number 3 team out there that
I'm gonna go with Craig on the live stream because I don't think they lost anybody, and that's Missouri.
Mizzou is right behind Auburn,
Oh.
direct behind them. Auburn's number 73 in the
Nick
country.
Bolton will be a first rounder.
Missouri is number 74. So nope, that is incorrect, but very close.
Well, it's certainly not Alabama.
Mississippi
Correct.
State.
Alabama's down at the bottom,
saw
150
Tennessee.
in the country.
I saw
Tennessee is
Tennessee.
122nd in the country. Mississippi State is correct, Bill. That's the other one. It's kind of sneaking up there on me. That's a program that's the preseason or the way too early off-season hype around them or credit that they've been given. I think in a top 25 poll or something out
Was the
there.
FPI had him like number 9 or something, right? Did we get to the
Right.
bottom of that?
No, I don't
That
think
can't be
so.
right.
Maybe this number has something to do with that there, and some people are believing in Mike Leach year number 2. I don't know, but will be interesting to see how that number plays out, because I think Bill Connolly's theory is that typically this number is a really good predictor in how you're going to do going into the next season. I think college football and college sports has changed in a large way because of the transfer portal and could have a major impact on this. I think maybe Connolly and everybody who does this kind of thing might still be in an adjustment period trying to figure out, all right, how much, if you have a highly productive guy like Eric Gray at Tennessee who transfers to Oklahoma, how do you weigh those numbers with the production of 2020 at one school and then how it pertains to returning production to another school? That's all a big part of it, I think. Big part of the program today, talking about tonight's draft, the War Room menu 1 through 4. Patrick, go down your whiteboard as we kick off hour number 2 here. I think that's going to get people in the mood for tonight's round.
A certain mood might strike me later. Like I have been thinking about sushi, so I might get sushi at some point. But this is for snacking during the draft because it's long. That would be a because I'm not gonna just snack on sushi while I'm going. But I do want sushi. But on my actual official menu, I have some buffalo chicken bites in the freezer right now that are awesome. And then of course tots. I love tots. They're the best. They're the best form of potato. And then number 3, Brookies. They have these brownie bites that are half brownie and half cookie. They're incredible. That's going to be the dessert for snacking. And then I'll pick up some Guinness. That'll be the menu.
That might be the most 25-year-old display that you've ever put on the program. I was trying to go back in my head 18 years ago when I was 25 years old, asking what I might eat in the NFL draft and where sushi might have ranked on that list. I don't even know if I don't think I had tried sushi at that point in my life.
Really?
Yeah. Jen just gave the most describe that face, Jen. Disgusted? Is that fair?
I can't. One time I ordered the salmon that's cold, that's I dumped it under the table. Like I was I didn't we were a guest.
You dumped it under the table?
What
are you, 7?
No, but
Austin at least put it in his pocket. He put mushrooms in his pocket one time and went and threw them away in the bathroom trash can. You just dumped them under the table?
I put it under a napkin and then gently placed it under the table. Other people had taken us to this beautiful restaurant, whatever, and I was like, this is really embarrassing that I don't want to eat this really disgusting stuff. And
was it only they've got other stuff at restaurants besides sushi?
Well, it was something that they had chosen. It's this is fantastic. I'm like, that sounds lovely, and and I just didn't want to look uncouth.
The other problem is you've got to be a professional sushi eater to go with the fish. Like if you're gonna do the salmon,
no, you just have to go to a sushi place. Like what I will definitely not do is get grocery store sushi. I'll never do that. I don't like it at all. No, I don't like
There's
it.
There's 2 grocery stores here that run specials on Wednesday that I'll hit up for the grocery store sushi.
Don't like it. I'll go to a sushi restaurant.
No, right. It's clear I grew up on a farm. Cook it or I don't want it. That's just the way it is.
Unbelievable. I've never heard a man use tots and speak so highly of sushi.
I was wondering, is it pretentious to use? Is it pretentious to use just say tots? I love tots. Because I don't know if I've ever
That's why I put them in all caps.
I went through Sonic the other day and I ordered tater tots. I want a medium tater tot.
No
need. I mean,
I think it's the same rule with French fries, right? If you say French fries, you have to say. If you just say fries, do you just say tots?
There you go. That's fair.
Unless you're specifying like sweet potato tots, which I have had before, and I've actually had cauliflower tots before, which were also very good. But yeah, if you're just talking about regular old tater tots,
Clinton on the text line agrees with you. He's all in on the sweet potato tots in the air fryer.
Ooh,
sounds good.
The air fryer's money for tater tots.
All right, we might be changing some menus for tonight's draft night. We'll actually get into a little bit of football, hopefully, when we come back. 803-404-61. If you would like to join, it's the early game here on 107.5.
One more road.
From the Shepherd's Glass Traffic
Mark
Center.
C out with the Brookies. You can eat Brookies.
Trader Joe's. Yeah. They're so good.
My apologies, DC, for going French fries. Carlton, maybe winner of most random text this morning. Jets. Got it. Never mind.
They need help at right tackle, maybe, but Mekhi Becton is a cornerstone. They drafted last year.
type it right in here for you, Anthony. This is the easier ones to remember. You guys want to get in on the video stream tonight for the draft? I'll send you a link. You can have up to 10 people at a time. You get to hang out as long as you would get to hang out at a regular bar. Talking about doing this tonight. Oh, sounds like Bill's cranking up the microwave. Is he going? What's he going with in the microwave is the question. We know it's not.
Air fryer, okay.
He's cranking up the air fryer.
I
Going
bet he's
bacon?
making potatoes of some sort, I bet.
Tots? He's going tots for you?
I wouldn't be surprised if he had tots in the freezer already.
I got they're I don't know if they're officially tater tots, but they're the little crispy rounds, kind of like you get for breakfast.
Yeah, we'll call those tater tots. I'm good with that. No,
Okay. Yeah, I'm just saying thing. Breakfast tots. Cajun wings and yingling. Wow. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't tell you guys when the last time I took a shot was.
I won't take a shot if Warren gets drafted to the NFC, which it seems like he's going to.
Oh, I can tell you actually. Well, it wasn't. There weren't real shots out there at the golf tournament, right? There was a little fireball going down. Actual
You don't know the
shots.
last time you took a shot?
That's what it is. It was our golf tournament when they had some fireball out there. But yeah, before then, probably pre-kids.
Really?
A long time, yeah, man.
I mean, that's not rare, Bill. I couldn't tell you the last time my dad drank. He doesn't drink liquor. He just drinks liquor. He doesn't beer.
Well, I don't drink
No, but
beer. I don't.
Yeah, so that's why you probably think it's
But
weird.
even if I'm drinking liquor, I'm not just gonna hey, let's time for a shot. Pow.
Do
Go over the rest. You go to the restaurant, you're going to do 4 to 5 shots, and they're probably going to be Jaeger bombs. We'll do a Washington apple. Everybody will get into a Washington apple. I've been doing dill pickle shots, which are not good. I'm not a dill pickle shot person. Do a lemon
You
drop.
would just like straight up, like what's a dill pickle shot?
It does have pickle juice, and then it's got I think a vodka. I'm not real sure because I don't order those.
pickleback?
Wow.
Huh?
I would do
I
a
don't-
shot of pickle juice by itself.
Yeah, I don't order those. They just get brought to me, but they do a lot of
They get brought to you. What are you, a king?
well, people order shots around a bar, and there's the girl will walk by with the. You'd have to be there to understand. It's a different environment. Like people don't do. Hey, let's do 2 4-ways. It's let's do 12 24 ways. I'm serious. They do certain people like they'll be up there and they'll be like, yeah, 12 24 ways.
Dang. I'm really not very
Yeah.
cool and hip.
All right, Anthony hit me up on the email.
There we go.
Oh, it's Jerry West old timey clip.
I want to know who Anthony wants at 3.
You want to know what?
I want to know who Anthony wants at 3. I think he's the only 49ers fan we've heard from on this stream, I believe.
This segment will need to be a little bit shorter.
Yep.
Ooh, sun went behind some clouds. It's nice out there.
Guys, right?
Friendly reminder, about 35 minutes away from your first of 10 chances today to win $100 and qualify for our grand prize jackpot of $25,000. It's 25K workday payday here on 107.5 The Game, top of every hour, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday until May 12th. The text number does not change, 95819. The secret keyword does change, and then the first one again of the day coming up at 8 o'clock this morning. Also wanted to remind you, the Hot Take Hotline is there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 803-978-6654. If you would like to vent about what might go down tonight in the NFL draft, a good way to do it is that Hot Take Hotline. Again, 978-6654. It's sponsored by Twin Peaks for the men who never settle. Go see them down at Vista at 600 Gervais Street. Speaking of the Vista and Twin Peaks, the menu topic is very hot right now as Patrick has his war room menu up there. I'm impressed with especially the first three. Number 4 there, I'm a little concerned about you going Guinness as your beverage, sir, for a draft that's going to last. It's going to be I'm preparing for a 4-hour extravaganza tonight. 8 to midnight does not sound. Me? Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm not comparing you to Bill. I'm just saying overall, the Guinness for a several hour period. I don't know if that's the way to go tonight. That's all I'm saying. I'm not comparing you to Mr. Shots over there and Bill breaking that down in the break.
I can only afford 8, so I'll only have 8 Guinness.
Only, but how expensive. That's how heavy it is too is where I was going. Like to me, it's more of a meal. No, you'll be good. Okay, good for you.
You'll be fine.
Yeah, Mark, I'm with you. Mark D. Guinness is too filling with the food. I'm with you on that. All right, a bunch of you have questions, and Bill, you have cranked up your air fryer at the house.
Yeah,
correct?
I got Patrick talked me into some breakfast tots.
Well, isn't that redundant too? I think Neil put that up on the live chat. You have to say breakfast tots. What's the difference between breakfast tots and just tater tots?
Tater tots are
size. Is what you're saying?
Size, yeah. I guess we go size.
You call them hash browns if they're for breakfast.
All right. Well, yeah, that's a good point.
Thank you.
So you can't call them tater tots. I agree. Like to me, it is the shape, right? It's more cylindrical. Aren't tater tots like cylinders? And hash browns are.
There you go. Yeah.
Isn't that fair?
I'll have some in a minute when we get to this next break.
They're really the same thing, aren't they? Just the shape between us here.
Yeah. You change it up. It's kind of like a breakfast burrito versus a burrito in the afternoon. Kind of just.
Trey says no. It's the time of day. Really,
exactly.
You can eat food, and based on the time of day, you're gonna call it something different. That's what
I'm with him on that.
Jeff hits us up on the Cool Care Heating and Air text line. Says I have about one serving of tots left in the freezer. Might have to give the air fryer a shot. Chili and cheese on top, Patrick.
If I have chili, then for sure, but I don't. I'm going to the grocery store. I guess I could get a can of chili. I'm not above canned chili.
Oh, Jeremy says I think I just gained 5 pounds hearing what Patrick's going to have during tonight's draft. Buffalo chicken bites was number 1. Tots number 2. Number 3 was Brookie's, combination of brownies and cookies, and then Guinness. I can see why Jeremy says that. He says, to be young. Hunter heard also about the conversation about sushi, and Jen just saying that she just dumped some salmon under. And this is what you said, Jen. You said you basically just threw it on the floor at a restaurant. Then you went back and amended it. This doesn't even apply here, Hunter. She said, tell Jen she should fake a shellfish allergy. That's what I do. Like, salmon's not shellfish, right?
Fish.
Right? You can't just say you're I never heard that. I'm allergic to seafood. Just completely.
Salmon. Salmon's like the cheapest fish out there.
I don't think so. No, I think
flounder is. I had a bag of salmon in my freezer that was like $10.
Well, I think it's.
I mean, yeah.
Carp with food dye.
We did learn a lot when we were talking about tuna that one day, that there's different types of tuna and parts of tuna. So I mean, I'm sure there's more expensive salmon than other salmons.
Yeah, CRM does not he's not approving of the highfalutin conversation here. He says Cajun wings and Yingling. Keep it simple. Yeah, but the Cajun wings on a draft night is difficult for a draft guru like Patrick because of the mess. I think that's the issue there.
Also, somebody said that you can't eat wings with two hands. I totally disagree with that.
How can you eat wings without two hands?
Because and you get when you get a flat.
I get it, but
when you get a flat, you break it in half and then just slide it off. Yeah,
gotta get after it.
Point, yeah.
I mean, well, if you're Bill, you're having shots brought to you. Maybe he has some people that prepare his wings.
By the way, as Jed's mentioning, getting the
kitchen
skin off of her wings because using the skin. You guys have heard the Mel Kiper deal, right?
No, what's the Mel Kiper?
You haven't seen what Mel Kiper eats. Somebody wrote an article about how weird he is the other day because he watches the Johnny Carson show at 10:30 every day on DVD, like it used to be on in the old days, and he watches Dallas at 9 p.m. every Friday as if it was still on TV. But his food, what he eats for breakfast every day is a split pumpkin pie, and then he eats his pizza. When he gets a pizza, he takes the cheese off and puts mashed potatoes on top of the sauce and just eats it.
Get out of here. Yeah. I ain't buying any of that. That is
that PR. That I was going to say that sounds like bad draft information, just trying to take down another team or a player.
It might not be true, but it's what they've been saying for years. And somebody wrote an article about it, and it's getting buzzed again. So, but that's been what he's claimed that for a decade or something. I think McShay's confirmed he's seen him do it. He might be doing it just because he knows McShay's around. But
exactly, that's an image. That's
I don't listen to anything he says.
Trey is putting out some information. We got to check on this.
No, it's
chicken wing shortage.
No, there's not a chicken wing shortage. There is a shortage of workers. I read the article the other day. There is a shortage of workers to process in the chicken wing plants or whatever. I almost tweeted this out. I'll go back and pull up the article because apparently there is a national chicken council that I was unaware of that spoke on this.
Yeah,
of course, yeah. And so anyway, there is a shortage of workers to process the chicken or do whatever you got to do in the factory, and then to package them to send them to restaurants. And so that is your shortage. There's not an actual shortage of chicken wings.
And Neil is very upset. He says, Patrick, you need to look up how you eat a flat, hot wing. If you break your bones in half, you are a full-on rookie. One hand, push the skin and meat down, dip, and suck it off the bone.
Wow.
I mean, you can just try and dip it and then just pull it off from the top with one hand, but that's not going to do that in front of people. I do that when eating by myself.
And DC says that's like the fat kid that could put the whole drum in his mouth and pull it out clean. That's kind of the image that I got just listening to.
Maybe when the lights are off and I'm just eating wings in my room by myself, but not on a live stream in front of people. I'm not going to be just a complete slob.
Did you just admit to eating chicken wings in your room, in a darkened room by yourself?
Yeah, where nobody can see.
Oh my gosh. We need to recover from that. Get back into Patrick's NFL information. How many names do you have written down? Did you say 144?
Well, I've been redoing a list. The first one had 234, but I don't like half of them, so.
Okay, there are a lot of names, a lot of information. In the first round, we're only going to hear 32 names tonight, I believe.
I have 24 first rounders.
Okay, interesting. Any particular reason? You're going to be that guy that are only 24 first round picks. Everybody else is a reach. You're that guy?
No, that's every guy. No team has 32 first round picks ever on their board.
Interesting. Okay.
I mean, John Lynch in that press conference said they had 160 draftable players.
Right.
There's 259 picks. So.
All right, fair enough.
I'm
also wildly interested in hearing from our favorite 86-year-old caller who proclaims he doesn't even support professional sports, never watches them, but he wants to weigh in on tonight's NFL draft. We're going to do that when we come back as well, though. some rare, actual, factual information from Bill Gunter on the program, you can tell that he gets serious about. Live video stream kicked you off. Yeah. It's the most serious he's ever been on the show in 5 years. Unbelievable. It's the early game on 107.5. All this talk about food tonight and maybe the messy food in particular reminds me of my dinner experience last night where the 1-year-old, apparently this is his thing now, just basically yelled the entire time. If he's hungry and there's food involved, he's just yelling the whole time. This is the way he's communicating these days. I'm hoping you have more peaceful eating times at your house. But that reminds me of Zero Res helping me out around my house, because along with the yelling at meal times these days around my house, a mess comes with it. Fortunately, we've had some help, some professional help around the house, cleaning up the carpets specifically, but also cleaning an area rug for us, helping freshen up the tiles in both the kitchen and the bathroom. Zero Res has done a great job. I recommend them highly, not only because they give you great professional carpet cleaning results, but how they do it differently than anybody else. They have a patented powered water system. They crank up the pH in the water. You can find out all those details if you're really interested in the chemistry of it at ZeroResColumbia.com. The most important part to me, what I need to know, is that there are no harsh chemicals involved in the process. I got nothing to worry about when it comes to my kids being on my carpet or on my surfaces after Zero Res has come out to my house. Also, no leftover soapy residue. My carpets have stayed cleaner longer. Yours can as well. Check them out online. ZeroResColumbia.com, again, is the website. They got a great deal for you. 3 rooms of carpet cleaned, only $119 plus a free hallway when you mention me, Tim Hill. Give them a call at 803-262-4020. It's Zero Res. Spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean. Bill's still kicked off, I see. Interesting. Trey. Not a shortage of actual wings, though. Interesting. Yep, Alan's agreeing with you, Trey. On the text line. All right, that'll get us back on track. Thank you, Anthony. Good to see. Now, who's going to tick you off the most, Anthony, if they don't go Justin Fields is my question. Mac Jones, you going to be happy with him? And what are you doing with Jimmy Garoppolo? Did he just cut? I don't think anybody's picking up the contract. I saw you type in there, Jen. That sounds about right. Saw the text. Jen, can you ask Bill about his internet?
I will.
Thank you for dealing with that other thing, too.
What happened with Bill?
Now, there he is. There he is. He's back.
Yeah, I agree, Anthony.
He's been eating. That's garbage, Bill. We see you can at least stop chewing.
I'm back.
And better than
Had to restart everything.
By restart everything, you mean go eat some hash browns.
And the restart the computer. So this is what we're talking about. Yeah, the crispy
Hash
rounds or
browns,
whatever.
not tater tots.
Crispy crowns. Crispy crowns.
Would never ever refer to them as that.
That's
what
what
the
they call
package
them
says.
in school lunches.
Really?
I think so. But I remember that kind of being the name, like, you know, made it sound better.
Package calls them crispy crowns.
That sounds like a trademark issue.
Huh.
All right, that's fair, Anthony. You'll take Mac Jones. If they go Trey Lance, you're not going to be happy.
That's interesting. I mean,
You would have thought it'd been opposite. You've been okay
well,
with Lance and been not happy with Mac Jones.
I just think it's too much to give up for a facilitator. Three first-round picks for a guy whose ceiling is 12th to 15th best quarterback in the league.
One more time there, Patrick. What was that last part?
Like, Mac Jones' ceiling is like Kirk Cousins, but Trey Lance has a immeasurable ceiling because he's got an enormous arm and he's an elite runner.
But
I
doesn't
would
he
just
also,
want a running threat. Like, you just inevitably have a higher ceiling if you can run and add a different element. And I like Trey Lance, but I think Justin Fields is by far the best of the three.
Oh.
And I would
You know,
think,
I don't know about Bojangles today.
Trey Lance was the pick. They might stick with Jimmy G for at least the beginning of the year. I don't know. But then you could get in trouble if Jimmy G starts winning games, and you could be in a Patrick Mahomes, Alex Smith situation all over again. Not that that's a bad thing.
Here's a big question, or I got a question for you. Are we coming back? Otherwise, I got a quarterback
Yeah.
quandary.
Yeah, you got about 30 seconds.
I'll save it for the next one.
What a tease.
He's gonna forget.
Another shorter segment here.
Mm-hmm.
That was more for Bill's benefit.
Oh, I gotta come with draft props for tonight.
Guys are up. You're up.
USC women's soccer moving on last night in the NCAA tournament with a 1-0 win over Montana. They will now play number 13 seed Georgetown coming up on May 1st. And I did see where the NCAA women's soccer tournament different this year, down to 48 teams from the usual 64. Moving on to the next round, maybe not that much more important. I guess actually Georgetown, because I think it's the top 16 seeds got buys. They didn't have to play in that first round, so it'll be interesting to keep an eye on USC women's soccer in the NCAA tournament. Again, moving on last night with a 1-0 win over Montana. Bill, you said you have a quarterback question. As during our live video stream, the conversation moved to San Francisco at number 3. Anthony's a 49ers fan, says he wants Justin Fields, says that would be perfect, and then would be satisfied with Alabama quarterback Mac Jones, would not be happy if they go with Trey Lance, the North Dakota State guy.
Well, how long? I'm trying to do this in my head before I really ask it, but let me put it out there for you guys. Aaron Rodgers will be 38 this coming December. Okay, he's 37 right now. December 2nd, he'll be 38. And we've seen quarterbacks, Drew Brees, obviously Tom Brady continuing play into their 40s. I think Rodgers is still playing at a pretty high level. The Packers drafted Jordan Love. At what point are the Packers and Aaron Rodgers going to split, or is Jordan Love available at some point? You factor that into somebody's quarterback decisions down the road here in the next year or two.
I don't know. That was just the dumbest thing I've ever seen. The Packers going that way. You said he's playing at a pretty high level, winning the MVP last year is pretty high. Patrick, can you help me out with that Jordan Love situation with the Packers?
It could get ugly if Aaron Rodgers wants to make it ugly with his contract situation because they're kind of stringing him along year to year, and he doesn't want to be the bad guy and say trade me or extend me. And but Jordan Love didn't even dress as the backup last year, so clearly he's not progressing like they wanted to. So I think his trade value is very little right now until you at least see something from it.
So what you're basically
wasted a bit. Not only wasted,
first round pick.
They did worse than that.
Traded.
And they traded and then created a situation that doesn't need to exist. I mean, that's the ultimate draft.
They traded a pick to move up when clearly they have a deficiency in corner because Kevin King just got roasted and played one of the worst games I've ever seen in that NFC Championship. Had a pass interference to lose the game. And then also Devontae Adams had to do everything for that offense because they don't have a secondary receiver. So, overall, worst decision ever. And we all said at the time, and we thought they were galaxy braiding us, and clearly we were just right because you don't do that. There's just no reason to do that.
Wait. We thought they were what?
You guys aren't on social media enough. You don't get it.
No, we don't get it. That's what we're asking.
Well, and if you guys aren't,
it's a meme. Galaxy braid is a meme. It's like
if you guys aren't watching the live video stream, you didn't get how obnoxious that was. Not only did Patrick say that, then he turned around and started writing as he was saying it.
You could have used context clues and known what I meant.
I have no idea what you're talking about. You're just not going to explain it.
It's just like overthinking it and thinking that you're being way smarter than everyone else.
And where does it come from?
It's a meme. It's pictures where you'll see like 3 different things, and it'll be like a normal brain, and then like a brain like glowing, and then like a guy that's in space, and it's called Galaxy Brain. You can just probably Google Galaxy Brain and pop up.
Old people learning things today. So, Bill, your point for that question was what exactly as it pertains to tonight?
As Patrick's talked about the 49ers, and I do agree with him, and the 49ers appear to be a piece or two away. I mean, they just went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago. And I think he said it, and I'll go to, because I kind of also tie this in with our resident Clemson fan, Jim. And I think he was being serious actually this time. He was asking who has the better career, Clowney or Jadeveon Clowney or Trevor Lawrence. And I would kind of side with Jadeveon Clowney, not because he's necessarily the better player, but because he ended up going to a franchise that for a while was pretty successful and that appeared to be well run for a while. Then he went to the Seahawks. I don't think he's had the best career ever. I'm not trying to say I don't think he's a Hall of Famer or anything. But I would take my chances with the teams he's been to or still is going to, even including the Browns, over Jacksonville. So you talk about going to a team like Jacksonville. Well, the 49ers are in a good place to make a run at a Super Bowl, kind of like we're talking about with the Panthers, potentially the window opening for them in 2 or 3 years if they make the right moves now. If you're the 49ers, are you kind of thinking down the line to, hey, man, what if we could get Aaron Rodgers to come back to California and play for us at 40 or 41? Patrick, you said they're kind of stringing him along. At what point does Aaron Rodgers get a little fed up and say, you know what, I'm out of here. I'm gonna take my talents back home?
Well, I disagree with pretty much everything you said in that rant, and I got to go back and start with the Clowney thing.
Okay, well, hey,
he's never had 10 sacks in his career. He's never broken 60 tackles. He's never in a season. I mean,
so what was wrong about?
Trevor Lawrence is definitely gonna have a better career than James Clowney.
And that's why Jim asked the question.
Yes, it's very obvious.
Why
He's being sarcastic.
No, you really think that Trevor Lawrence going to Jacksonville with Urban Meyer is gonna? I'm not.
It doesn't matter about Urban Meyer. Trevor Lawrence can play in the league for the next 15 years. Urban Meyer could get fired in 3.
The
better
comparison would be, or how to evolve that conversation is look at number 1 overall picks in the quarterback position in the last few years, like Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield. They are set up to have much better careers right now than Jadeveon Clowney at that number 1.
Yeah, I mean Clowney's career
what it is
a disappointment. Like, he's not
Unless
terrible. He's
You
not
guys
a
are
bust.
missing the point. You're wildly missing the point on this. This has nothing to do with the talent of a player. This is the team he goes to. And I'm not buying the Jacksonville Jaguars, whether it's Urban Meyer or the way that franchise is run, to
They
be
played
able
the
to
AFC
do.
Championship game 4 years ago, maybe. Euros.
I'm not buying that franchise to be able to get the most out of Lawrence. It has nothing. This has nothing to do with Trevor Lawrence. This has nothing to do with anybody's ability. And as I said, it's not like Clowney's had a good career.
okay, Patrick, we need to add an over/under just on Trevor Lawrence for today to get in on I don't know, Pro Bowls or something to that effect to gauge his career. Because I'm with you on this thing. Sounds like Bill's completely on the other side. We'll continue.
I'm pretty
to
sure
discuss.
Jim was being sarcastic.
No doubt. He was doing his usual.
I don't know. I think he was being. I think
provoking.
he was. He. You know, look, because it's a fair question, but it has
He
nothing to
chose
do.
today to be really thought-provoking.
Yeah, it has nothing to do.
We'll
This
talk
has
about it
nothing
when
to
we
do
come
with the
back. Bill,
talent.
we got to take a break. It's the early game. It's 107.5 the game.
The game. The game is on the air, online, on your phone, tablet, on Alexa, Siri.
Well, Jim's watching on the live stream.
What?
Well, see, he sent that question in. Jim sent the question on the live stream, but then he bounced back over to the text line. But see, now if Jim says, you saw what his text messages said? Typical answer. That means we can never take Jim serious again. Sorry, Jim, you're no longer. You're just.
I didn't take him serious. Only you took him serious.
I was trying to help him out. But the fact that it has everything to do with Jacksonville, nothing to do with Trevor Lawrence.
And nothing to do with the Carolina-Clemson rivalry. Completely unbiased here.
I think it's actually not a bad question because he's going to one of the worst franchises in the NFL.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get picked number one. You go to the worst team.
So did Peyton Manning with the Colts.
So did Andrew Luck with the Colts.
Yeah, you're right. You guys are right. The Colts were run. The Jags are run just as well as the Colts were.
The Colts were terrible before Peyton.
Absolutely awful. They definitely hadn't been to a championship game a few years before.
Ooh. All right, those are some good ones.
Yes, they did. Clemson Sean. Morning, Hope.
That was the Kyle Shanahan effect.
When did they draft Peyton Manning?
1998.
So in '95, they lost in the AFC Championship game to the Steelers.
Son of a Harbaugh.
Yep.
The Jaguars. Okay, so 3 years before Peyton was drafted,
Yep, the
Yeah.
exact
the
thing.
Jaguars were in the AFC Championship game 3 years ago.
But I'm
Nice
still
work.
saying the Colts were a better run franchise.
mean,
I
Excellent.
think smokes prior to that. What is?
it's kind of not. Okay, I guess I get your point, but Clowney's been borderline bust, and Trevor
I
Lawrence
actually
is
did not realize. I
very-
did not realize they moved from Baltimore. I thought they moved from Baltimore to Indianapolis in like the 60s or the 70s. I didn't realize they did. They moved in 84.
All right, heading back in, and you're only going to have about a minute. Guys are up.
Liking those prop bets you got on the whiteboard right now. Patrick Perrette in all his glory ahead of tonight's NFL draft off in 12 hours and 6 minutes from now, which will really probably be 12 hours and 30 minutes from now. But supposed to do it about 8 o'clock tonight. That's when we're hitting our live video stream broadcast. Love to have you tonight. It's non-radio deal, just on the internet. The draft props you got up right now, Patrick, going to run through them as we wrap up hour number 2.
Over under 1.5 running backs in the first round. Over under 5.5 quarterbacks in the first round. Over under 4.5 trades. Who will go number 5? Chase, Sewell, or Pitts? And then J.C. Horn's over under for selection is 11.5.
Which one of those would you feel most confident as you sit here right now?
Jamar Chase going 5.
Really interesting.
And Jamar Chase going 5.
And who's quarterback number 6 tonight? Possibly.
There's buzz about somebody that people want the 5th-year option on QBs. There's buzz about Kyle Trask. Yeah.
Trask. Hour 3 coming up.
Yeah, I was trying to find things that weren't juiced too much, and the under's juiced pretty heavy on that. It's like minus 250 or something like that. Because a lot of them are like first defender taken. Like you can get pretty good odds on J.C. Horn being the first defender taken, and
So there's got to be no defenders in the top 10. Is that that's a pretty big number too? I would imagine, huh?
yeah, I don't think there'll be a defender till then.
What's the record? The record is 7, right?
The Cowboys are essentially guaranteed to go defense, but I guess that would be top 10.
Yeah, you're right, Bill. By the way, I just saw your message. 840 Crowder.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I lost. Same thing that happened to you the other day. I nothing there.
Yeah. So when you have to log back in, the chat history, the private chat history goes away, Jen. Just FYI.
Yeah. Yeah.
Say that one more time.
If you get kicked off of the live stream, if you have to log back in, then the private chat from the session just goes away, like the private chat history.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then Bill just needs to be ingraining. You guys need to just burn that stuff in your brain, anything that I say, written or otherwise.
Man, imagine if that happened on this show. My brain would be so messed up. It didn't go in one ear and out the other. And Steven, you're really stuck on that, huh? Really stuck on the Jaguars.
He put the smiley face so it wouldn't look like he's actually rattled about it.
Tone's tough to figure out on the live chat.
I was watching the video about when Bryce Harper got hit in the face and some of the conversations back and forth. So.
Oh man, that thing that gives me nightmares.
Ugh.
Just how he did it. It's like his hand went up and it was too late, and it's just like, oh, smack
Down.
there. I think it was.
And the fact that he's okay.
Right. How do you take that off your face and you're okay?
Yeah.
What's the best get hit? Like right in the cheek?
No, the best place to get hit's right on the shoulder, where all the
No,
meat.
if you're getting hit in the face, where's the part that can do the least damage? Like
You would almost think
know,
it's got to
man.
be more the jaw because you certainly want to keep it away from your eye and sinuses.
yeah.
Where
Without
did Grayson
anything-
Griner get hit?
Yeah, nose.
Yeah.
Was it the nose? Because it took him about 3 weeks to come back.
I think it was pretty similar to where Harper did, actually.
Yeah, because he was kind of pointing like in here.
Right?
And am I just
Oh.
making it up, or did they know that the one that hit Griner was 94 miles an hour?
Yeah, this was 96.9, I think.
Yeah.
Attaboy, Steven.
There you go.
That reminds me of I've introduced my kids the other day to the Three Stooges. Probably should have done that.
Oh boy.
Nice.
They love it. The 6-year-old especially loves it right now.
So is your wife speaking to you yet, or?
I only showed them one video, and it was pretty tame.
It was pretty tame.
The violence was at a relatively low level, I think.
That's good.
So, Bill, we got Heath off a week from today, I think, and then maybe the first couple of days in the next week. Will you be good to do his spot?
A week from today.
Yeah, Friday show.
Wait, Thursday and Friday, or just Friday?
Sorry, Thursday. Yeah, I think it's Thursday, Friday, and then maybe even Monday as well. I'll go back and check. So Thursday, Friday, Monday is what he's taking off.
Yeah, that should be fun. Thursday, Friday, Monday. Yeah, that should be fine. So I would just be with y'all on Wednesday next week.
Got it. You're off Monday, Tuesday, hop on Wednesday.
Recap the beach and birthday festivities and slide to
That'd
the
be
afternoon. Yeah.
And then
Part
be
of your
off.
birthday celebration is not having to work with us very much.
That's right. 39.
We will be in a state of depression.
Well, you'll have Patrick will be kind of down because it'll be the post draft letdown.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's gonna start gearing up for the 12th is when they release the
Schedule.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I really like our road slate too, so I hope something works out.
You really like what, Patrick?
Our road schedule. Like for being able to go to games. We play in Green Bay, Vegas, obviously Dallas.
You gonna try to go to one? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, if depending on when the dates are. I know my family is trying to make a trip to Vegas with my little brother. The youngest turns 21 this year.
Not fun.
Uh-oh.
So if Vegas works out, I would be pumped.
Do they
And if
need
Dallas
somebody to
is
carry
not on
bags?
Thanksgiving, huh?
They need somebody to carry bags.
I've never been. I'll do anything.
I'm guessing
Well, I would do it for
guessing
you.
both New York teams. Is both New York teams, is the stadium in New York or is it in New Jersey?
Jersey.
Jersey.
So the fact that New York, they said yesterday, is going to be wide open, I think July 1, doesn't affect the stadium, does it?
No, I think they're usually pretty in line with their decisions,
Right.
though.
I would think so. But
Jen, do we still have our buddy Gamecock Larry hanging on?
He most certainly is.
All right, we'll get to him here.
Okay.
It's a Thursday, but it's more than a Thursday. It's draft day, and it's more than just draft day for some, especially some that prepare like it's their job. Like our buddy Patrick Curry this morning. He's got a great list, 5 prop bets headed into tonight's first round. But how many? What's the latest list, and how many names do you have? You only got 24 first round guys for tonight's 32 picks. Is that correct?
Yeah, which is actually more than most teams will have. Usually, I think I heard Daniel Jeremiah say that he only had 17, so I don't know which those 17 are. But I have 24, and some of them might not go in the first round because some of them are just huge injury risks. Like I was struggling what to do with Caleb Farley, who's had 2 back surgeries already and didn't play last year. So I don't know what to make of that. I'm not a doctor, believe it or not. So I still have him as the number 1 quarterback just because I think he's the best. And then like Micah Parsons, who has a load of off the field issues, that he's probably going to get dropped down. And who was the other one? Jalen Phillips, who has a million concussions and has retired from the sport and unretired. So I don't know what teams are going to do with that. I don't know how to make sense of it. So I just tried to put them in the order that I think they're the best. And Micah Parsons, I have at number 7, and he's not going to go number 7, I don't think.
Over under as far as running backs in the first round, you got at 1.5. The quarterbacks is at 5.5. And Richard seems to be all in on Kyle Trask being number 6 there. He says, Kyle Trask is my guy. I keep saying he'll be the best quarterback to come out of this draft, and he hopes that the Chicago Bears have enough sense to take Trask so Andy Dalton can start the season holding the clipboard. Jen, they're also your Chicago Bears. Would you be happy with that pick, or are you going to be like most Bears fans and wait, and as soon as he doesn't play very well, you will boo loudly? You're probably still trying to recover from Mitch Trubisky, and that's only fair. And I think that can lead us to where we kind of ended our number 2. And this had come up because Jim over in Carolina Beach, the big Clemson fan, threw out there, trolling as usual, I thought, and that's how Patrick read it as well, who will be the better NFL player, Jadeveon Clowney or Trevor Lawrence? And this got us into the conversation, I think, basically, of how much success we think Trevor Lawrence will have in the NFL. We all expect him to fully go the Jacksonville Jaguars. The question is, what kind of career is he going to have? I think he's a good enough player to overcome what has been a bad organization in Jacksonville, to overcome, I think, what is a pretty bad fit in the NFL. And Urban Meyer, only a college guy previously, clearly has a massive ego and has baggage coming with him to the NFL as far as his college programs and personnel issues and the whole thing. Trevor Lawrence is a really, really good player. I think he's going to be a really, really good player in the NFL. Bill, it sounds to me like you're not convinced if you can argue that Jadeveon Clowney is going to have a better NFL career than Trevor Lawrence, because I mean, you will admit it hasn't been a great NFL career for Jadeveon Clowney. I guess you could argue it's been good, but for the number 1 overall pick, I don't think you can go anywhere further than that, being what in the Pro Bowl 1 time, I think, in his career.
Yeah, I don't think Clowney's had a great career by any stretch. This isn't about trying to prop up Jadeveon Clowney's career and say that he's a. I think we did this yesterday. I forget on air, off air. I mean, by far, it's not even close. The best Gamecock career is Stephon Gilmore, and I don't even think that's debatable. So maybe if you want to ask, and maybe this is where you guys would be willing to take it, if you want to do Gilmore. I get why it'd be Clowney because being the number 1 pick. Maybe if you wanted to do Gilmore versus Lawrence, just when it's all said and done. But the reason I wouldn't initially say Trevor Lawrence, because I don't think it's hard to top Clowney's career. But the reason I wouldn't just jump right in is, I don't have a lot of faith in the situation he's walking into. Patrick, you were kind of talking. We opened the show and you were going over notes and doing things, and I forget how you worded it, but you were talking about you got to go back and learn some free agency, and you got to see who teams are picking up. Now, how many picks do you know off the top of your head? How many picks the Jags have tonight?
Tonight, 2.
Excuse me. They have 2 tonight.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. Obviously
they have 10 picks.
They have 10. So they're gonna. This will
5 are in the top 65.
Yeah, so they've got a chance to put a lot of young talent on their roster, and just kind of as you go through it, look, the quarterbacks right now, C.J. Beathard, Jake, is it Luton, and Gardner Minshew are your three quarterbacks. So to me, Trevor starts from day one without question. I don't know much about it. Carlos Hyde is one of the running backs, and
James Robinson was undrafted free agent that went for over 1,000 yards in his rookie year.
Yeah, and so I mean, again, I don't know how great the skill position players are here to come in and as Tim was talking about, instantly prop up Trevor Lawrence. I will be interested to see what Urban Meyer got. The combination of Urban Meyer going to the NFL and then getting one of the four best quarterbacks to leave college since 1980, to me is a very, very fun thing to watch. And guys, I mean, I think we kind of did this a while back when Urban took the job. Like, what is a fair expectation for Urban Meyer and the Jags over the next 5 years?
2 playoff berths, 3 maybe. That sound about right to you, Patrick? Where are you at?
Yeah, get close to 500 this year in that range.
And then try and make the playoffs the next year. They are not that bad of a team at all. Like they have a lot to work with. I would think they're probably going to go offensive line if it works out with their second pick today, because I mean they have 3 really good interior linemen, so they're good there. They probably need a right tackle, and their left tackle Cam Robinson's on a tag, so they have pieces on the offensive line to work with. Their skill positions are good. Like I would think they should try to take a wide receiver just because there's not a lot of time on those deals. But DJ Chark is a legit weapon. Like he is really good from LSU. Laviska Shenault, who they drafted last year out of Colorado, is a sort of gadgety player, but really good and flashed a lot when he had the ball in his hands. And they signed Marvin Jones, who's also a known entity in the NFL. Like they have guys to work with there. And on defense, I mean, they're just young. Like they had 2 first-round picks last year. They drafted C.J. Henderson, the corner from Florida, and Kayvon Chase on the pass rusher from LSU, who was always going to be a project type of guy. He's just freaky athletic. So him across from Josh Allen from Kentucky could be a legit pass rushing duo. They signed Shaquille Griffin, corner from Seattle, who's been pretty good. So like they're not a bad team by any means. So I think they're not far from competing for the playoffs. The only problem is the Colts are really good in that division, and the Texans are horrendous, so that's fine. And the Titans are going to take a step back.
I see them being a just less than 500 team this year with all this young talent coming in, peaking next year or possibly year number 3. But then that's where I see it going poorly with Urban Meyer and his track record. You're talking about egos and big-time reputations of guys getting picked, 5 picks in the top 65. And then you're going to talk about contract issues. And that's where Jacksonville has been just atrocious here recently, just being able to sustain success. It's difficult in the NFL, and almost everybody not named the New England Patriots has a really tough time with it. You got to throw Tampa Bay Bucks, I guess, in that conversation now with 22 starters coming back for the first time ever in the salary cap era from a Super Bowl winning team. But that's where it's going to be really difficult, I think, for Jacksonville in the long term. Short term, I do have some confidence that they're going to have some success in the NFL. We've seen it with a couple of different franchises recently. The 49ers might be the best example of a team that just had no chance to win one year and then just 3 years later in the Super Bowl. I think they could do that possibly. I think Trevor Lawrence is that good of a player. The question to me is going to be, all right, what happens after that first wave of success? And that's where I got no confidence in Jacksonville.
But what they're not going to do is let Urban Meyer ruin Trevor Lawrence. Like if that's happening, they'll just fire Urban Meyer and get a new coach. Like that, I don't think that's why I think the quarterback's going to be picked over the coach there.
But how long does Urban Meyer get?
Well, we'll see how bad they are, how good they are. I mean, they don't make the playoffs in the next 3 years, they'll get fired.
Yeah, I'd say that's how it is in the NFL. How long does Steve Spurrier get with Washington? 2 years.
I don't
right?
know. He pretty much. Yeah, I mean, he did not
quit.
want to be there either, though. So
Yeah, and Urban may do the same thing. I didn't realize. I really have no reason to pay attention to this, and it happened back in February. So I think this staff is still together. Urban's defensive staff is mostly former college guys. You guys realize Charlie Strong is on his staff. Chris Ash, who was the defensive coordinator for him at Ohio State, and then was the head coach at Rutgers, Tosh Lapoy is his defensive line coach. I think that's interesting too. Just I was kind of glancing through this at the guys he's got there. It's interesting. Urban Meyer. I mean, I don't know if there is maybe, I guess, but I was going to say for me, storyline number one of this coming NFL season, because I don't really have a team, is the marriage of Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence together in Jacksonville. And I don't expect them to be world beaters, but watching what Urban Meyer tries to do as an NFL coach, and then how he takes, again, one of the best quarterbacks, as we've talked about on this program, one of the 4 best quarterbacks to come out of the college ranks since 1980. I think we've said it was John Elway, Peyton Manning, and Andrew Luck is the other 3 guys that have been put kind of on that pedestal. Seeing those 2 guys work together and what offense they run and how Urban translates to the NFL, I think that'll have me tuned in. I'll tell you what, if Jacksonville if I'm able to watch it, I will sit down and watch a good bit of one of their games just to see how all that looks.
Also interesting, Brian Schottenheimer's the passing game coordinator. I didn't realize that he coached at Georgia back not that long ago at all.
Sure.
Yeah, there was did you see the story that he basically tanked Trevor Lawrence's recruitment because he didn't like to recruit and was an NFL guy and didn't realize he had to recruit and kind of botched. I think it was something about Trevor Lawrence showed up the spring game and he forgot his card and basically just showed Trevor Lawrence the worst time and then didn't give him an offer.
Yeah. There's a good story on how Georgia and how they let some other people in, to go into the game, and they didn't let Trevor in right away and made him stand outside for an hour of the stadium.
And apparently it's just because Brian Schottenheimer is he's just a football guy, and they were like, hey, you actually have to recruit when you're a college coach, and he's like, yeah, I don't do that. Sorry.
Jordan, interesting comment. Cool Care Heating and Air text line 803-404-6100. I love Clowney as much as the next Gamecock, but the situation's only a portion of the player's career. Look at Myles Garrett, number 1 pick to a bad team, and then or a worse team than this year's Jaguars team, he says. Now he's the best player on an AFC contending team. Your comment, Bill, about Stephon Gilmore being the best Gamecock in the NFL has gotten some people reacting as well. Connor is up next with us on the Love Chevy phone lines, wanted to discuss some of that. Good morning, Connor.
Good morning, guys. I just wanted to see what your thoughts was. You said it wasn't really debatable that Gilmore is the best Gamecock in the NFL, but I really think John Abraham's looking at a Hall of Fame induction coming up here soon. I'll take the answer off the air, guys, and see what your thoughts are on that.
Appreciate the phone call. Bill, would you like to respond?
You guys, I mean, he's right. I think he's right. Do you guys think that Gilmore, as things stand today, is a Hall of Famer? Or does he need to do more?
If he stays at the same pace he's at for maybe 2 or 3 more years, he's a defensive MVP. He's got the game-winning interception in the Super Bowl. He's been the best corner in the league for 2 years. I mean, Jalen Ramsey was outstanding last year, and it's been kind of debatable, but corner is a hard position to stay consistent at, and he's been model of consistency. So if you had to put him head-to-head with John Abraham, I'd still take Stephon Gilmore just because he's been defensive MVP.
Yeah, NFL interceptions co-leader in 2019. He's got 4 Pro Bowls, 2 first-team All-Pros. He was, as Patrick mentioned, defensive
Abraham
player
was
of
a
the year.
2-time All-Pro, I think, as well. But
Whoa. Just 2? Is that what you're saying? I think you're selling him short there. Look, you got to look at John Abraham's career sack number. You guys want to guess where he is all-time ranked in NFL history in most sacks?
I know he's in the top 30 because there's only 100 sack guys.
13. You know who is 1 sack behind him all time in the NFL?
Yeah, he's a 2-time first-team All-Pro, Tim.
That's it. Wow, that's surprising to me.
His career overlapped with Julius Peppers and Jason Taylor and Michael Strahan and first ballot Hall of Famers.
Yep.
To be an All-Pro, you have to be literally the best at your position. So that's very difficult to do.
He's got
Tom Brady is not even
1 more career sack than Lawrence Taylor had. He got 7 more sacks career-wise than Derek Thomas. More career sack, 8 more sacks than Dwight Freeney.
How many first-team
Impressive
All-Pro
numbers.
seasons do you think Tom Brady has?
You should have it.
The greatest player in history.
He's only. I'm guessing you're going to tell me it's. I would guess 5 or 6. You're going to tell me it's not even that high.
It's 3. It's 3.
Wow, that's crazy. Good perspective. Thank you for helping me keep that in perspective this morning. But I think John Abraham is certainly in the conversation. Jim B hit us up on the live stream as well. Said, "What about Sterling Sharp?" I think Sterling Sharp right now is similar to how many years I think Stephon Gilmore played. Unfortunately, his career cut short because of an injury. I think that's
Right.
the conversation there, right? And it depends how you evaluate these things. So I understand you guys taking issue with it, but you also understand too that when you are the defensive MVP, when you make a Super Bowl basically clinching interception, that is rare air, and to kind of project that path, it doesn't look like he's slowing down anytime soon. I think that comment is fair. And yeah, 133 and a half sacks is what John Abraham ended his career with. There, Craig was asking about that. It was a really productive long-term career. Jonathan Joseph is also in that category. Somebody hit us up about Brad Edwards with a really good career, no doubt. And I think I would rank it John Abraham 1. I'd put Jonathan Joseph not too far behind at 2 there. You're talking about longevity. Brad Edwards probably deserves to be number 3. Sterling Sharp, if you're going really dynamic careers that didn't last for a long time.
Hall of Fame trajectory for sure. Just
right. But Stephon Gilmore looks like he's going to have the combination of long-term and dynamic, and at a level that we haven't seen.
I know that now some people, maybe I guess saying that it was not debatable is maybe the wrong way to say it, even though because I see people debating it. But I guess my point in that is, like, are we a consensus that it is Gilmore with the best career?
I think we are on this show. Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't think it is a consensus opinion. I'm guessing our favorite 86-year-old caller would probably tell us, don't forget about Steve Cadillac Wadiak, right? Gamecock Larry on the Love Chevy phone lines.
Yes, sir. How are you? 2 hours and something, nothing you're talking about except the NFL draft and the past Gamecock players. Nothing about matters to the Gamecock fans. The series we got coming up against Mississippi tomorrow night. That's what we worried about. I don't care if Lawrence goes, Lawrence or J.C. Horn go 1 or 100. Once they leave college, I don't even know where they're at. But that's about all I got to say. But the more I just hope you guys give the Gamecock fans as much time as you give the NFL draft, which don't mean there's 1 penny to me. I'm an old-time Gamecock fan. Yes, I will say, Steve, Wadiak the Cadillac, go Gamecocks.
Gamecock Larry.
I wonder why
he stopped short of saying once they leave college, I don't care about them.
Yeah, he does.
That's what he was about to say.
Yeah, he doesn't care about former Gamecocks. And he also questions why sometimes he gets left on hold in the afternoon for long periods of time when he calls up and yells at the people for what they talk about.
I didn't hear any yelling.
That was his form of yelling. He doesn't ever raise his days, I guess, of officially yelling are over. Those were left when his was a, and I apologize. What was his official rank?
Was he like a drill sergeant or something?
I wanted to say
was at
sergeant.
one point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey Bill,
yeah.
I've got some trash over here. Can you go throw that away for me?
Yeah, exactly. He even did that for him one time.
I love how Gamecock Larry instantly got Bill in a bad mood. Just like that. He's crossed his arms over here. The posture is up, pouting in the corner. And Patrick and I are giggling.
I just love that he was clearly about to say, once they leave college, I don't care about him, but then he stopped and was like, I don't even know where they are anymore.
measured.
Yeah. You didn't want to be that guy.
Much to Gamecock Larry's chagrin, we will get back into more NFL draft stuff. Maybe we'll touch on Carolina and Ole Miss, but we also have a Friday show that we can talk about that. And the college baseball preview probably won't be quite as in-depth as Gamecock Larry would prefer here on the day of NFL draft round number 1, where J.C. Horn, a former Gamecock, the over-under you have him at is at 11.5 right now.
Yeah,
Patrick, wow, what would that number have been immediately after J.C. Horn opted out for the Gamecocks in the season? It would have been 25.5, wouldn't it? Or maybe
something like
30,
that.
32 and a half first round or not.
Yeah, and it's even jumping up now because I was looking at an OddsShark thing from a couple days ago that had it at 13.5. So I was like, that's too low because people are saying that his floor is 12 now. So I split the difference.
So tomorrow, if Gamecock Larry calls in, we'll have to tell him where J.C. Horn got drafted, because once they leave Carolina or Clemson, he doesn't even know about it. It's the early game. It's 107.5.
It's a new year.
They're hungry, they're driven.
In a new attitude.
I want guys that want to be here, not just going out there to hire some guy that has a famous last name.
It's not some retreads. We're a bunch of guys that I think are ready to prove to people that we can do some special things here.
New attitude.
I do believe that things are always meant to be.
Welcome home.
My parents went to school here. This is it. There's no other job.
Love hearing from Gamecock Larry, having a fun little debate about what's the most important thing to discuss these days. We all understand a very important thing in life is your financial setup, especially as it pertains to your house. I recommend you check out Beaufort Lending. If you're anywhere close to being in the market right now, you need to understand a great time to get in the market. Even if you're maybe looking at refinancing, great numbers out there. I went through the process with Benji Getzi and his team just last week, I think it was. Might have been the week before. But because I'm also kind of in that stage right now in my life where those numbers are important, and I wanted to check out the options and see what we could do. Benji gave me some great numbers, and I did not expect that. Also, I didn't expect the process to go as smoothly as it did. Beaufort Lending has been in the mortgage lending business for 25 years. Their experience and their expertise, that's why Benji thinks he can get you the great deal, the best deal out there. He encourages you to use other people. Go through those relationships that you've had before. Check out what they can give you. He's just asking you, just put them on your list and see what he can do for you as well. And then you will make the right decision for sure. Give him a call, 843-524-2404.
I think Gamecock Larry's going to call back and try and walk back his comments a little bit.
Leave him on hold till noon.
Jim, I am going to use Projectory for the rest of my life now after reading that. I have never heard that in my life. I don't think it's a real word, but I'm going to use it now because I love it.
It's like a movie theater.
It's like nimbility. A buddy used to like to use that to describe big guys who can move, old nimbility. I'm going to use Projectory as much as I use amphibious for being able to use both hands. Love it. Craig says the Eagles are going to take Horn. Where are the Eagles picking? Are they at 12? Is that right?
12, yeah.
So that would be an over bet, huh? Instead of an on the 11 and a half.
Feels like Cowboys or Eagles. I think Samuel's going to sneak into the first round. I think the Packers would be a good landing spot for him there. He doesn't have the same body makeup as Gilmore, though. He's a little guy.
Oh, that's a great call, Jason. No, we don't need to call Gamecock Larry tonight on the stream. We need to get him on the stream. Just post it up in the corner. That would be amazing. Attaboy.
I really like the team. I have him at 34, so just outside the first round, but positional value will boost him up a little bit.
Samuel Jr., you're saying?
Yeah. I like him. He's a good player.
And
Florida State's weird. They're going to have a lot of players drafted, even though they were awful.
Can you guys help me with D's first name there? I've never seen that one.
Demetrius?
That's what I got. He's a contributed a couple times. He sent us some stuff.
Oh, I know. I just don't want to butcher it.
Oh, wait. There's a Demetrius that calls in. That's a Florida State fan.
Or Demetrius.
Yeah.
That does not translate to Demetrius for me.
No, it does not to me either.
The I before the R.
Yeah. Right. Can you confirm or deny there, Mr. Chestnut, the phonetics of the first name? Or should we just refer to you as D? DC? Whatever you want.
And if you're a Florida State fan, I'll tell you all the rest of the Florida State guys that are going to get drafted and where I have them.
How many guys could possibly get drafted off the tire fire that's been Florida State recently?
4.
Wow.
Marvin Wilson's one. Marvin Wilson is Nasrilladeen 2.
Yeah, Hamza Nasruddin. Yeah. And then Tamorion Terry, the wide receiver who opted out last year, he's a good little player. He'll get drafted later on.
Who's the 4th?
Asante Samuel Jr. is the first. In the order they'll get taken: Asante Samuel, Hamza Nasruddin,
Oh, yeah.
Marvin Wilson, Tamorion Terry.
I always wonder about. I remember Nasrilladeen was a big talk around Carolina's program. I always wonder what would have happened if he would have come to Will Muschamp's program. How things might have been different.
He
would have been a part. He'd have been a part of a 2-8 team and a 4-8 team.
You think he would have made zero difference?
Not in the win or loss column.
He's like McQuamu build, but thicker.
Yeah.
He's 6'4", played safety, but he's actually probably going to play linebacker.
Played what position?
Nasruddin.
Safety.
Good safety.
Yeah, which has been a massive problem for the Gamecocks. You don't think he would have made a bit of difference?
They would have been freakishly long. They would have been the longest secondary ever fielded.
No. I mean, I agree with Patrick. I don't. One player was not changing the dynamics for South Carolina.
Maybe not in the win column.
I mean, maybe the defense is slightly better. I don't know.
There's actually multiple secondaries that are going to have at least 3 guys drafted this year. Syracuse will have 3 defensive backs drafted. UCF will have 3 defensive backs drafted. Georgia will have 3 defensive backs drafted. Oregon will have 3 defensive backs drafted. Yeah, McQuamu and Nasruddin in double coverage, trying to spit that out on the radio broadcast.
Right. Good point, Craig. Izzy and Nazi, right?
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Nazi.
Back in, shorter segment.
Yeah, we got Carrie coming up.
Yep.
After this.
Yeah.
Guys are up.
1075thegame.com, the place to go if you want to win a Camp Chef pellet grill worth more than $1,000. Just enter to win at Grill Bill. All you got to do is fill out a couple of questions there. We'll put you on with us on Monday during our Grill Bill segment that is sponsored by the South Carolina Pork Board, its member farmers, IGA Food Stores, and Camp Chef. Just looking to make Bill uncomfortable. Get some entertaining radio out of it for Grill Bill. And we might end up going Grill Patrick this Monday when Bill will be out, actually. When you get selected to join us on Monday mornings as part of that segment, you get a $50 IGA gift card as well, and you get qualified to win that Camp Chef pellet grill. 1075thegame.com, again, the place to go for that. Also, 10 times per day, starting at 8 a.m., get a chance to win $100 in our 25K workday payday right here on 1075 The Game. Every winner entered into the drawing for the grand prize jackpot of $25,000. All you got to do is text the hourly keyword to 95819 here on 1075 The Game, where we've been discussing a lot of the NFL draft, much to the chagrin of Gamecock Larry. He's the only complaint I think we've heard about. I think Alan hit us up earlier, said he turned on 1075 The Game and got the Food Network. We did talk about the draft night menu, the War Room menu, which is on one side of Patrick's whiteboard this morning. The prop bets on the other side. Patrick, I got to tell you, the 4.5 trades, that's the one that I feel most comfortable about. as it pertains to your prop bets right now. I always feel like we overhype the trades going into the first round specifically, and I think tonight is not going to be different. I mean, 4 trades I think would still be a very active night and give you that under. That's where I feel most comfortable going on your prop bets like now, under 4.5 trades. Bill, which one would you take on his board right now, and where would you go with?
Look a little bit closer here. What's the fourth one? Chase.
JC Horns over under 11.5.
No, the one right above it.
Jamar Chase, Penny Sewell, or Kyle Pitts to go to the Bengals.
Yeah, I would take them versus the field. If you're giving me those 3, I feel like that's.
Which one of the 3?
Oh, I thought you were saying them versus the field.
That would be a very solid bet if you would take that.
I don't know. I don't think it's Pitts. I don't. It feels like the Falcons are leaning toward Pitts. I feel like they go Jamar Chase. I feel like they go the LSU connection. And so I'd probably take Chase. And then the one I'm most comfortable on is it just feels like JC Horn. A lot of people have got him to the Cowboys at 10, and you said the Cowboys are definitely taking the defensive player. That's you've got a very strong feeling on that one. So
I would be really surprised if there's more than 5 quarterbacks. That one's kind of skewed towards the under anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Are you doing it on your hands? It's Lawrence, Fields, Wilson, Trey Lance, and Mac Jones.
And so so that's right. And Kyle Trask is the 6th. I'd actually go with you on that. I think I was looking earlier, and I would actually take the over. If I was doing those, just to run through them very quickly, I would take the over on running backs. I'd take the over on quarterbacks. I would take the under 4.5 on trades. I guess I should say this out loud because people can't just look at it. Over 1.5 on running backs.
Basically mean Etienne and Najee Harris.
Right.
Yep. Over 5.5 on quarterbacks. Under 4.5 on trades. I'd go Jamar Chase to the Bengals at 5. Under 11.5 JC Horns spot. And I don't know enough about OSU versus Bama to make a projection on their players.
That's mostly for the whole draft because Alabama will have. Well, actually, what I could put on there is, will Alabama break Miami's record for 6 players drafted in the first round? Miami had 5. Will Alabama have 6 today?
Okay, let's go through those names. So Harris that you mentioned, Mac Jones that we mentioned, Waddle and Devontae Smith. Yep. Those are the 4. Who else you got?
And then Christian Barmore, the defensive tackle, and then Patrick Surtain, the corner. And then they've also got Landon Dickerson, who some people think is the best interior offensive lineman, but he's got an ACL injury that'll I don't think he's probably going to go in the first round, but they have 7 guys that are going to have some first-round grades before.
And Leatherwood did at one point in his career, right? And does not now. Is that the deal?
Yeah, so Leatherwood. Yeah, I mean, Leatherwood, a lot of people – the thing about this draft is there's so many unknowns that you're going to go with safe picks and safe players. And that's kind of what could potentially make trades happen is if guys are just going to be comfortable with somebody, just trade up and go get the guy that you're comfortable with. And that's probably going to help Alabama and Clemson and programs that are just so solid and just have always put out like great guys. Like I think when you look at the NFL draft, there's a reason that these programs are like that. Like Trevor Lawrence can't miss on and off the field. Travis Etienne, teams are going to love that he came back to school when he would have been a first rounder anyway. I love both their receivers. Amari Rodgers is a coach's son, T. Martin's son, who's a coach's son, a quarterback's son, super smart, willing to do anything. Cornell Powell played 3 years as a special teamer and finally broke out as a senior to play receiver. So, like, they're just going to love all of the off-the-field stuff for all these guys. Alabama, same way. Najee Harris came back. There's no reason for him to do that. Devontae Smith, there's no reason for him to come back, but he just plays big, and there's all this talk now that he would be, like, the quarterback on the field for Sarkisian and come back and say, hey, they're playing us in this leverage. We need to switch to this, and just the smartest football player ever. And Jalen Waddle toughing it out when he clearly was very hurt in the national championship. Teams are just going to love all those guys.
And the guy on the other side of that is Justin Fields, isn't it?
Right.
Ohio State quarterback, no track record from that perspective. The transfer, and I guess it came out in the draft process that he has epilepsy and is trying to deal with that kind of question mark hanging over him as well. And I think it's more the Ohio State quarterback, Dwayne Haskins, I think works against him and the lack of success he's had in the NFL. To me, that is the most interesting part of tonight's draft, because a guy who could go number 3, and I think 49ers fans like Anthony said he'd be thrilled with, but a guy who also could drop just Aaron Rodgers-like, I feel like, in that first round. So, Patrick, I want you to give us a number, 1 through 32, assuming you think Fields is going tonight, about where he's going to get picked. Don't do it now. We'll do that as part of the dramatic conclusion of the show. That it also includes our buddy Darlington Raceway President Kerry Tharp hanging out at the Governor's Mansion again yesterday. We'll get some details on that. Give some old draft stories. We've been talking about best Gamecock as far as NFL career. Kerry, as a former longtime sports information director, has a lot of personal experience with some of these Gamecock greats. We'll get into that with him as well when we come back here. You're listening to The Early Game. It's 107.5 The Game.
The home of the Gamecocks and new head football coach, Shane.
Now is the time. If you're thinking about refinancing, you need to go ahead and get in touch with a mortgage guru. Good news for you. I got one of those for you to call. How about giving the mortgage guru, Jacob Crowder, with First Palmetto Bank, a phone call today and see how much you can lower your monthly mortgage payment. 803-719-1005. That's how you start the process. Give them a phone call, give them some information, and go ahead and see what you can refinance for. You might save a lot of money. Jacob's helping people save $200, $300, even $400 a month. He's been helping lots of families across the Midlands, so many, in fact, that he's had to bring on some help. Brian Kovar joining the Mortgage Guru team to help Jacob help get you taken care of. And it's not just refinancing that's all the rage right now. Maybe you've been thinking about purchasing that new home. You found what you want. Now you're ready to make the move. Give Jacob a call and see what you can get approved for and what the interest rate will be. They're still very low, and it's a golden opportunity. 803-719-1005, or you can email them, J. Crowder, CROWDER at firstpalmetto.com. He's the mortgage guru, Jacob Crowder with First Palmetto Bank. Tell you what, the best Gamecock NFL career is that's an interesting conversation. Apparently, a lot of people are not completely on board with us.
Yeah, Bobby Bryant, too, is up from a couple of different spots. I'm going to look that up again, his career.
If you're in a wreck, you have enough to deal with these days. Call the Phil Green Law Firm. We're here to help.
2821 Millwood Avenue, Columbia, South Carolina.
So, two-time All-Pro.
You talking about Bobby Bryant?
Mm-hmm. Tom Brady's got him beat by 1. That's what we've decided this morning. 1 championship with the Vikings in '69. Was a 7th-round pick. Wow.
It's a good career. Of course, back then they had, 12? So he was a mid-round pick. Back then they may have even had more than 12.
Yeah, it might have been 20. I think it was 20 at one point.
Early round pick.
51 career interceptions. Pretty ridiculous.
That's really given. They didn't throw the ball near as much back then.
Right, he was 10th all time when he retired in most interceptions. It's 39th now.
That is definitely a solid career. I feel like that one rivals Gilmore. I feel like that's the one you're talking about up there with Gilmore.
No. Well, right now,
Well,
maybe.
it's a different era, but I think that's every bit as impressive.
I don't think it's as impressive as John Abraham's 13th all-time NFL sacks.
Yeah, definitely not going to be 0-time Pro Bowler Deuce Staley.
Somebody weighed in with it. Danny? Yeah, not Deuce. Bobby Bryant sings in the choir now? How about that?
What a brutal introduction that would be, Patrick. And welcome, two-time Pro Bowler.
He was first team All SEC though.
Super Bowl champ 2 times, I believe, or maybe more.
As a coach
No,
or as a player?
player. That's awesome, Chad. Sings in the choir with your mom. You enjoying the song, Bill? I
What
don't know
is
what's
this?
up.
What are we?
Bluebell ice cream. That's right.
I feel like this is the Carolina Pride commercial with what's that? What was that little boy's name that's building the birdhouse?
Yeah,
Come on, you got to know what I'm talking about. The Carolina Pride commercial. There's people who got to know what I'm talking about. It was owned when I was growing up, young. It would air on Sunday mornings during Joe Morrison's coach's show or the coach's show. Now, what was that? That little boy's older than you and me now that was building the birdhouse. Yeah, Hope knows what I'm talking about. He's Carolina. It was a Carolina Pride commercial. I want to say his name was Bobby or Ronnie. I don't know, but Joe Morrison show. I used to watch that every Sunday, all the time on Sunday morning. Watch with my dad because back then I was young. They didn't take me to games, so that was my way of, especially if it was a night game, being able to rewatch the game. What was that?
Getting ready to head back in. Carrie's ready.
I can get nostalgic talking about that show or that commercial.
Funny.
Not only am I nodding my head because of the music here, not only am I in a good mood because we have the NFL draft in the first round tonight, going to do a live video stream on the usual YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, but also in the
mood of any of that because Bill Gunter is no longer in first place in our NASCAR pick segment. This is great news.
This is great news. Celebrate.
That is the cackle of our new leader, Darlington Raceway president, Gary Tharp, former longtime USC Sports Information Director.
We know the president now of the Stop the Vote Club. You and Jen there, like stop the count.
No, we're good.
We have lots more picks to make here. Carrie taking a lead for 1 week. I will allow it. Kudos to Carrie. Unbelievable that it took us so long to figure out to figure out how to come up with a winner.
Brad Keselowski taking the checkered flag at Talladega has Carrie Tharp in a very good mood and the new leader in the clubhouse in our NASCAR pick segment. How does it feel, Carrie? I imagine you're just walking on cloud 9, have been since Sunday.
I tell you what, it was a great day at Talladega, and it was always enjoy that race. And you really don't know who's going to win on that particular race really until the white flag. And so Brad made a great move there. I was deep down pulling for Matt DiBenedetto to get his first career win. I think that would have been really cool. It would have been the 100th win for the Wood Brothers Racing Organization. He kind of had a little hiccup there on the last lap, and Brad took advantage of it and got the victory. So, he's won 6 times at Talladega now, which is, I didn't realize that until after the race. And, that ties him with Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr. for the Dale Earnhardt Sr. has the most wins at Talladega, but that's pretty lofty company to be mentioned in the same breath as Jeff Gordon and Dale Jr.
Speaking of lofty company, Darlington Raceway President Kerry Tharp hanging out with the governor. Was that just yesterday? I know it was this week, just rubbing shoulders, doing the normal deal. And I think you had Jordan Anderson, the Columbia native, also with you.
We did, and that was yesterday. And Governor McMaster is gracious enough to have us over at the mansion, prior to our events. And it was a great day. The weather was outstanding. We had a good turnout. Jordan Anderson, local homegrown product from out there in Forest Acres, unveiled his throwback paint scheme for his number 3 Chevrolet truck that he'll be racing next Friday night. And it's actually a tribute to his future father-in-law, Larry McReynolds, outstanding crew chief who won some championships and is now an analyst on Fox, NASCAR on Fox. And so it was really a great day, and the governor was in good spirits, and we really couldn't have had a better event. It was outstanding.
Man, what a way to suck up to the future father-in-law there. That's a solid move there.
No question.
Well done.
Pretty good move on his part, wasn't it?
Absolutely. We'll get to your pick for Kansas this weekend in a minute. First, I wanted to get your thoughts. NFL draft coming up tonight. You rubbed shoulders with a lot of Gamecock football players through the years that got drafted, got their names called. Wondered if any stories stick out for you from that standpoint as it pertains to the NFL draft and those guys having their dreams realized.
Yeah, one thing that strikes me is just how different the draft has evolved. It's become such a big spectacle. And really, NFL draft is almost a 12-month-a-year story that they cover on the networks particularly. But I do recall Sterling Sharp was coming out of his senior year. It would have been, I guess, the 88 draft. Because 87, he was first-team All-American and actually came in third or fourth, I think, in the Heisman. But anyhow, I was with him most of draft day, actually, to be honest with you, in Columbia, as he was doing some phone interviews with the teams that were going to draft him. And, it was, I think he went number 7, maybe to Green Bay. And it was very, very cool just to kind of be around that. But I mean, fast forward to where we are now, he would have been in wherever the draft is taking place. I guess it's in Cleveland tonight, but he would have been front and center there instead of, wandering around the USC campus with me. So that one sticks out probably as much as any. Just how the magnitude of the NFL draft is how it's grown so much.
And that led us to the conversation, Kerry, about the former Gamecock that's had the best NFL career. You've been around more of those guys than we have. Obviously, lately, Stephon Gilmore, kind of if you're going the recency bias, has kind of taken the lead there. Where do you see that conversation right now as a former Gamecock football player, best NFL career?
Well, Sterling certainly had a great career, and I think his career would have even been longer had he not had a neck injury. I mean, he ranks at the top in some of the categories for Green Bay Packers in receiving. And I think if you ask Brett Favre, he was probably his favorite target during those great years. I mean, you mentioned Stephon Gilmore. What a great career he's had. Brad Edwards, not a real long career, but he won a Super Bowl, maybe 2. I should know that, but I know he had a super career. George Rogers' career was not that long, but early on in his career, I mean, he was first pick in the draft. He led the league in rushing his rookie season. It was Rookie of the Year. He did wind up winning a Super Bowl his last season when he was with the Washington Redskins. So, we've had our share of good players. Bobby Bryant, going back in the day with the Minnesota Vikings, was a heck of a ball player too. So we've had our share of NFL players, and I think if you look around the rosters now, we got guys that are playing and have been in the league for multiple years, and making a good accounting of themselves as former Gamecocks.
Yeah, Kip wanted to mention Melvin Ingram. His name, I guess, has come up on our live chat today. John Abraham, another name in the conversation. That conversation will continue. We'll save it for another day. Right now, we got to get your picks for this weekend. Kansas is the spot. Kerry Tharp is our leader. And where is the leader going in the NASCAR pick segment here?
Well, I'm going with a guy that he's certainly would have thought he would have won by now, but he hasn't. And I'm going with Chase Elliott to win Sunday at Kansas. I think it's his time to win, and he'll be the 10th different winner that we've seen this season. But I'm going with Chase Elliott on Sunday at Kansas.
Looks like you might have stole your pick, huh, Jen?
He was in my top 3. So actually, I thought maybe he was potentially going hard. You know, I've kind of been leaning towards Harvick, and yet, boy, he just can't seem to get over the hump this year. Like, just can't quite put it together. So I'm actually going with the younger guy. I'm going to say William Byron.
There you go. Good pick.
All right, Bill.
I think it's a good one.
You know, honestly, Jen, I really do want to take Kevin Harvick because he's been so good there. 8 finishes of 9th or better in his last 10 races. And if he doesn't break out this weekend and win, you just don't feel like it's going to happen this year. But if you guys are going to hand me Denny Hamlin, I'm never going to turn down Denny Hamlin when he's available. He's the favorite to win this week. He's won there twice in the last 3 races. I can't turn him down. I got to take him. I got to get a victory. And after wrecking last week, I feel like Hamlin's due. I'll take Hamlin again because you guys left him for me.
All right.
Wow, creative.
Yeah, that's not too surprising. It's a gimme. He's going to take it. He's taking the gimme. Kerry Tharp, appreciate you joining us as always, and wishing your pick, Chase Elliott, even more luck, and you continue to dominate this pick segment so we can get Bill down a peg or 2. Thanks for your time as always, sir.
Y'all have a great day. Thanks.
And that's our time. Thanks for listening to the Early Game.
This is Gamecock Athletics Director, and you're listening to 107.5 The Game, WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
There we go. That'll do it. On the live stream. That'll do it. Gary hit it.
For now.
Landing on that one.
Yeah, Jen, if y'all are gonna leave Hamlin out there, I have to take him. I can't not take Hamlin, the favorite to win the race. I was really prepared to I thought one of y'all would take him, so I was really narrowed it down to Kyle Larson or Kevin Harvick. I was actually probably going to go with Harvick if one of y'all had taken Hamlin, because like I said, if he doesn't win this weekend where he's been so good, I don't think he gets it done.
Yeah, I am concerned about him this year for some reason. They just can't put something together for him. So, but you know, Hamlin, yeah, he's been the bridesmaid quite a bit lately. So, I don't know.
I feel like I'm gonna get 2 or 3 points with Hamlin. I feel like Hamlin, that was the letdown last week. That's one of the few times I've never gotten points. I think I finished 4th because of the wreck. So
yeah.
I stay right in there until I finally can find that winner.
Is that what it is? You're just gonna have one pick.
Attaboy, Chad. See you guys tonight. If you want to hop on the live stream with us, shoot me an email, tim@1075thegame.com. It's going to be fun. Patrick, rest up.
I got to go get supplies.
Attaboy.
Go get his food.
Sounds like fun.
All right. See you guys tonight.
All right.